Hello everybody and welcome to United Stands. It's hot and it's Manchester United against Crystal Palace in this watch along that we have for you today. Team news is out for both teams. We've got a bit of a build up. We normally live at 10 o'clock on the United Stand anyway, so we're a little bit early because the game does not kick off for another hour or so, but it gives us an opportunity to talk about a lot of other things as well. So I hope we're all doing very well. We're sponsored by Wash and Go on the stream. We'll be talking about that in a moment, but if you want to get your Wash and Go products, links in the chat, get it delivered to your door. Got a little poll going on, which I'll explain in a minute, about haircuts to do with Wash and Go. So thank you very much for them sponsoring the show. It's going to be a hot one. It's well over 30 degrees already in the UK, and it's just going to be hot. I don't want any sympathy. I've got some water. I'm wearing a T-shirt. We'll be fine, but it will be hot. But look, let's get on with the game. Let's talk about what the starting lineup is for Manchester United. De Gea, Lindelof, and Maguire with Delo and Malacia starting at left back. So no Varane. He's not being risked today. He's back in training, but not risked for the game today, which obviously benefits Maguire. We're going to talk about that in a bit, about Varane. Some interesting news that I tweeted about Varane last night. Some people think he's for sale. We'll talk about that. Midfield too. There's nobody else. It's McTominay and Fred. I mean, Donny could play there, but he's in the second team again. And obviously you've got Iqbal and Savage in that second team. Bruno plays again, and then Rashford, Sancho and Martial play again. So it's pretty much, I wouldn't use the word boring, because it's never boring to watch Manchester United, and we're building towards something, of course, but there is really very little rotation in this team. I mean, the only change you could have really expected was maybe Varane, if he'd have been fit. Obviously, he's done what he did on on Friday, where instead of Elanga, he's put Rashford back. He put Elanga on Friday, and he's given Malacia a start in the game today instead of Luke Shaw, which just keeps them on their toes. But he can't rotate his centre-backs. There's nobody to play there. He can't really rotate his right-back. He hasn't really got anybody who's going to push there. He's rotated Elanga with Rashford in the previous game to sort of keep Rashford on his toes. He's rotated Shaw with Malacia to keep Shaw on his toes. He can't rotate his midfield, although I think he should have done. I'll come back to that in a minute. He can't rotate his number 10, although he could do. He could play Donny, but he prefers Bruno. Can't rotate his striker because he's got no other striker. And he can't really rotate his wingers apart from playing Elanga. So there's not a lot you can expect in relation to rotation because, to be honest, we haven't bought the players that we should have taken on tour, and we're quite short in certain areas. So it's another opportunity for this team, which, I'll be honest with you, doesn't massively excite me. I'm excited by, well, no, that's not the truth. The midfield doesn't excite me. I mean, if McTominay and Fred are starting next season, I'm going to cry. Maguire and Lindelof are just not going to start next season. It doesn't matter what you think about them. They're not going to start. So, and also, this Crystal Palace team is ridiculously weak. I don't know what people think about that, but it is ridiculously weak for them. So I think what we've got here with Manchester United is an opportunity to go and win and build confidence. I'm hoping that the Villa game on Saturday will be more competitive, because I think Villa have bought a stronger team. But that Palace side, if we go through it, I think it should be an easy win as well, Nicholas. Welcome to Members Club, by the way, Luke. And Man United is looking for right back Jonathan Klaus. No, we're not. Akshay. Fingers crossed, says Mark Griffiths. Don't know what he's on about. And Jacob says, I like Malacia starting. I don't like McFred, and I don't like that Bay isn't starting instead of Maguire. I do like the front four, though, says Jacob. Yeah, we'll talk about those things in a minute. Hi, Mark. I get your anger when people say Martinez is signed as a CDM, and I agree. But if Maguire is nailed on, as you think, start, it mightn't be a bad option. Keep up the great work. I don't get angry, armchair pilots. I don't really. Mark, check your mic, mate. Apparently, we've got a bit of problem with the mic, Dorsey. Don't know. No, there's no problem with the mic at all. So, look, I don't think that... I don't really care if people have opinions. That's the whole point of it. But we're not buying Lisandro Martinez to play in the midfield. That's as simple as that. So, yeah, it's not an issue there. So, I don't see that. But look at the Crystal Palace 11. There's a lot of things I want to talk about in the hour we've got before the kickoff. I want to talk about Varane. I want to talk about Martial. I want to talk about Ronaldo, a bit of transfer news as well. Something special must happen in training for McFred to start, says Joskin. I don't think anything special happens at all. I think that they probably bring Eric Ten Hag a bottle of water and an apple every day, and he likes them. I mean, I'm joking, but the serious nature of this is what else is he going to do? I firmly believe that Zidane Iqbal should be starting. over McTominay, 100%. And I firmly believe that Eric Bailly should be starting at centre-back. But, Garner's not fit. He's not in the squad. Ben Shields again. So Garner's gone on tour and been injured for 3 games. It's just, when it comes to that midfield, I feel like we're almost cursed. Like we are destined to have McFred in our midfield forever and ever and ever. But no, seriously, we are a bit unlucky. Like, this De Jong deal should have been done ages ago. Probably not going to be ready for the start of the season. Garner just has been injured and not been able to play. He clearly doesn't want to play Iqbal or Savage because they're so young. So he's only got McTominay and Fred. And that's what he's going to do against Brighton. And that's what he's going to do against Brentford. And that's probably what he's going to do against Liverpool, because when is De Jong going to come anyway? So it's just better off on this hot day not to think about it, because I find the centre-back situation will be, because we've got options. We've got some good options at centre-back. But in the midfield, there's just no options. And you default to this thing that I said last year. If Solskjaer sticks with McTominay and Fred, he'll get the sack. And he did stick with McTominay and Fred, and he did get the sack. And I'm not going to say that Ten Hag's going to get the sack, but it's a huge risk going into the season with 2 players that they just don't work. They do not work together. Individually, there might be something there, but collectively, I just can't see it. I'm just Aviz. Thanks for joining the members club. Hi, Mark. Have you seen the news that Ajax are looking at winger Porto Conceição? I have looked at that. I hope they're signing him. It might open up the door to Anthony. We'll have to wait and see on that, Richard. Mark Griffiths with the sticker. Thank you very much, Mark, on this hot morning. Is Donny finished? If he can't get starts under this manager, then maybe time to start looking at him. Surely something is happening in training, says Aram. I think that, you've got to look at what Adam said on the morning show today. Obviously he interviewed Donny after the game last week. And there's clearly something not quite right with Donny. Obviously, he'll play in the second half. Let's see if he can do any better. I'm just putting a tweet out here about the starting team, and then I'll tell you. So my issue with that team, then, I think Zidane Iqbal should have played instead of McTominay, and I think Eric Bailly should have played instead of Lindelof or Maguire. I don't really mind who he would have started for. I don't understand where the risk and reward is. It's pre-season. I don't understand why Eric Bailly wouldn't deserve to start in this game. I don't really get it, and I don't really understand why Iqbal wouldn't deserve to start as well. Are we getting a little bit of a hint that Ten Hag's quite stubborn in his lineups again? With another manager that just is quite tunnel visioned on what he wants. And what I mean by that is not that he won't make changes, but he'll only make changes to players that he sees as part of his future. So Malacia obviously is part of the plans for this season. He swaps in with Shaw. Friday, he sees Elanga as part of the season, so he swaps in with Rashford. Eric Bailly's probably been one of our best players on tour. He's not had a start once. So this is the starting 11. This is the team that's going to play against Brighton unless we buy people. Of course, we've got Sandro and Eriksen to come back as well. But it's very clear what Ten Hag's doing. He's picking a team in the first half that is his first choice team. Now, if Varane was fit, I'm sure it would be Varane and Maguire today. But he's picking his first team in both first halves so far, and he's done it again in his third game. Eric Bailly is clearly up for sale. We know that, because otherwise he should be starting. He's not part of his future plans. Iqbal, Savage, I think one of those deserves to start today. They're not part of the season plans, are they? They'll either be loaned or training with the first team. So he's sticking with players and building the consistency with the players that are going to be playing at the start of the season, which you can actually understand in a sense, because if he's going to play McTominay and Fred against Brighton, then he needs to keep playing them, doesn't he? Because let's be honest, the less games they play, the less time they've got to actually become competent. Reports coming that Haller got testicular tumour. I hope he gets well. Now, I saw that last night, Nicholas. Obviously, he's not a Manchester United player. He's an Ajax player, formerly of West Ham, just moved to Dortmund. And I think the football community, if that is true, and it looks like it is, sends all the best to Sebastian Haller, who apparently has had tests at Dortmund and has been diagnosed with testicular cancer. So thoughts are with him. Look, I think I remember Jason Cundy had this. He's now on TalkSport, ex-Chelsea player. He's made a full recovery. So hopefully prayers are with Sebastian Haller, and hopefully that'll be fine. Thank you for bringing that up. Do you think Martinez could play in the front back four and play Bay and Lindelof, Harry, Hover at centre backs as Daniel? I think really I just don't want to talk about Martinez anymore. Like, we're talking about Crystal Palace, we're talking about real issues, and I think I know that people think I get frustrated by this, and I do not get frustrated by it, because I've been doing this long enough to know that in a society, there's different mindsets. And in a Man United fan base, there are different mindsets. And in the United Stand community, there are different mindsets. And you just have to take them on board, sometimes discuss them, and let them have those thoughts. Over the years, we've had people constantly saying Lindelof should be tried at CDM. He's never been tried at a CDM, and he was never going to be tried there. We've had people saying that Aaron Wan-Bissaka should be played at right back, at centre back. He should try right back first, actually. Yeah. Centre back never happened, never will happen. We're now getting it with Lisandro Martinez, which is a little bit more logical because he has played as a CDM and he has got that build. And I think he could do the job better than Fred and McTominay. But we're 100% buying Lisandro Martinez to play centre back. And if you can't figure that one out, you're wasting your time. And also, you're trying to put square pegs into round holes again, because we're buying Lisandro Martinez to play left-sided centre back. If you saw the game against Melbourne Victory, the reason we conceded was not because Luke Shaw had gone forward. That's what you're meant to do in a Ten Hag system. The reason we conceded is that Lindelof was poor at covering the flank and not quick enough. And then Maguire was too slow to cover the pass into the centre. Now, if Lisandro Martinez was playing, he would have anticipated the cover, because that's your job. In an Eric Ten Hag Ajax system, your fullbacks go forward and your centre-backs cover the flanks. Lindelof's not used to doing that. So he didn't cover the flank very well, and he wasn't very mobile. We're buying Lisandro Martinez to bring a balance and to cover that. Why isn't Varane starting, says our man. I'm afraid Maguire is the sword this board will fall upon. Well, Varane's not fully fit yet, so that's probably why. McTominay is a proper midfielder who doesn't lose the ball cheaply. He also has leadership qualities. He will play with De Jong if we sign him. I don't know who that was from, but you might want to have a drink of water. He might be suffering from heat stroke. There has to be a clause when these managers sign their contracts saying they have to play Maguire an amount of time, because surely Ten Hag hasn't picked him for his defensive prowess, says Aidan G. Well, I'm glad people have moved us onto that. Let's have a drink of water. Spurs have signed Jed Spence. Well, we knew that was going to happen. I did a video last week. So let me just go through this, because last night, if I can find the tweet, there was a tweet I put out last night that just get your head around this, okay? So also, can I just say as well, while I'm looking for this tweet, please subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner, because we are so close. We are so close to 390,000. As you can see, we're on 3898. We're only 100 away. So subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to find this tweet for you that I put out last night, because it's really relevant in relation to what some people are talking about. I've got something stuck in my throat. Really annoying. Don't even know what it could be, because I had my shreddies an hour and a half ago. I've not had nothing in the mouth since then, since water, which sounds completely wrong, but that's because you're vulgar. So last night I put a tweet out and I said this: Varane is on around 350 grand a week with 3 years left on his deal. Interesting few weeks ahead. So we've heard a lot recently about Manchester United. We've heard a lot recently about Manchester United and the centre-back situation. And that's mainly because I think you've got to think logically here. We're going to talk about Martinez. We're going to talk about the centre-back pairing for a very quick minute, because we've got a bit of time before the start. And it's all about building towards the season and Brighton and Brentford and Liverpool. And there's a lot of people at the moment that are very much talking about the centre-back situation. And they're talking about, what's happening there, what's likely to happen there. And I think it's quite tainted because, and the reason I say that is that everyone's saying that Harry Maguire is going to start, but Eric Ten Hag is being asked questions about Harry Maguire. He's not been asked about Raphael Varane. I haven't heard him be asked a question about Raphael Varane yet. So you've got to remember that all this discussion, Eric Ten Hag's not walking down the street with a few, Samuel Luckhurst behind him and James Ducker, and he's going, I love Harry Maguire. I love Harry Maguire. We're going to win the Premier League. I love Harry Maguire. He's not doing that. He's being asked questions about Harry Maguire. So he's going to talk about Harry Maguire. Now, he's definitely not going to say, I hate Harry Maguire. He's a lump of cement, and he's absolutely useless in a high press. And I can't wait to drop him, and I'd love to sell him, but no one will buy him. He's not going to say those things, is he? Because that's his manager. That's his, that's a player. He's going to speak openly about him. So at the moment, we are in a position with Harry Maguire where, I'd agree that people are thinking that he's going to play games for Manchester United regularly because Eric Ten Hag has spoken about that. But as well, let's not forget, he is being asked those questions about it quite regularly. So my interpretation is that Lisandro Martinez surely will start because he's cost us so much money. £55 million, left-footed, only left-footed centre-back, which makes it a foot race between Maguire and Varane to play right-sided centre-back, because we're not playing a back three under Erik ten Hag. We're just not playing a back three. He's going to play a back four with two centre-backs, because that's what he does. That's what Pep does. That's what Klopp does. That's what Ten Hag does. They're not about to play back threes. They're just not going to do it. It's not their principle. So he is going to play with a centre-backs of two. I think the left-sided player will be Lisandro Martinez. So it's Varane versus Maguire. Now, Varane has injury problems. I've said this before. It's very, very clear that he has got injury problems and he's not even playing today again. So there may be a part of a Ten Hag that just says, you know what, I'm going to go with Maguire because he's actually going to play more games for me. That might be the case. And I've always said I think Maguire will play a lot with Lisandro Martinez. And I hope Harry Maguire has a good season. I think we all do, even though we have concerns about it. Dara, welcome to the Members Club. But Varane is on 340 grand a week. Now, even if he's had the 25% pay cut, that still puts him north of 250 grand a week. He's on way more money. He's one of the top three earners at Manchester United now. I think actually might be fourth behind Sancho, De Gea and Ronaldo. He's got 3 years left on his deal and he's on over 300 grand a week. You're benching a player like that. What I'm saying is interesting few weeks ahead. I'm not saying we're going to sell him. I wouldn't be surprised if we tried to, because United's summer transfer window has been chaotic, but they can't just bench Maguire for the next season. Like, he's on over 300 grand a week and he's here for 3 more years and no one's going to give us that money. So we paid £40 million for him a year ago and he's on 300 and something grand a week. It's all right saying Maguire's going to bench Varane, but for how long? How long's that going to work then? All season? He's just going to play Europa League games, World Cup winner, multi-Champions League player, still France's starting centre-back. We're going to bench Varane, who's for me, still one of the best centre-backs in the world. We're going to bench Varane on 340 grand a week or whatever he's on, 3 years left on his deal. We're going to completely depreciate and destroy his value. I don't know. It's going to be, all I'm going to say, it's going to be a very interesting few weeks. But I think what people aren't taking into account with this centre-back situation is that, yes, I think Lisandro Martinez has to start off the left for many, many reasons. He might not, but I think he has to. And then it is a race between Maguire and Varane. And the funny thing about that is Maguire's on about 200 grand a week. He cost 80 million. He's got loads left on his contract. Varane cost 40 million. He's on 300 and something grand a week. He's got loads of years left on his contract. So, in one way or another, it's going to be very interesting because I don't see either of those players being happy that they can be benched. What the probable solution will be, unfortunately, is that Varane won't be fit enough to play. Hope to see Hannibal and Garnacho get some minutes today. If they don't play regularly this year, I'd like to see them loaned out. Not sure, Joshua, that Mabry's even on the bench. Maybe someone in the chat can let us know about that one. I'm not sure about that. So we're not going to play a 5-3-2, Donald. You know absolutely nothing about this manager, do you? Which is absolutely fine, but don't put forward suggestions that are just not going to happen. You've got no idea about Erik ten Hag, have you? He doesn't play with a back five. Now, you might have guessed it. He might completely shock the world of football and play with a back five. I'm not saying it's impossible, but everything in your research about Ten Hag shows you that he likes to play two centre-backs who split and cover the flanks and let the full-backs go forward. He's got no need for three centre-backs. So I don't think he would do that just to accommodate Varane and Maguire. I think he's got the balls to drop one of them. Why can they not try Donny in a two with Fred for a half and with Scott for a half so we can see what's the best combo for ourselves? It's annoying, says Glenn. And Varane had a knock and only rejoined the group for training yesterday. I don't think there's anything more sinister to it than locking him in cotton wool, says Sam. Yeah, I agree. And it's the same with Garner. Garner's back, but not available today. Surely lineups aren't based on wage packets, says Michelle. Where have you been for 3 years? We all don't want lineups to be based on wage packets, but lineups at Manchester United over the last 3 years have been based on favouritism. So what's that favouritism based upon then? I don't know. But that's a fact. There's Man United players who will tell you that. So, and we are a business. We are a brand. So what I'm saying is, I don't think selections are based on wage packets, but I don't think you can leave a player on the bench who's got 3 years left on his deal on 300 and something grand a week. I just don't think that's economically viable. I think something would have to be resolved there, whether it's a loan move or a sale at some point. I don't think, what I'm saying is, I don't see Raphael Varane sitting on the bench behind Harry Maguire for the next 3 years. And if we do sit him on the bench and try and sell him next summer, no one's going to give us 40 million and no one's going to pay him 340 grand a week. So we've got to be very careful about how we manage this. And this is the thing that Ten Hag will never have experienced at Ajax. Ajax, as good as they are, he never would have been in a situation with 3 centre-backs where 3 of them are on like massive money, and he's got to think about the club's financials, because he will have financials at Man United are going to be relevant to any manager, whether they like it or not. Hi, Mark. I love your content. I watch every day. Can I get a birthday shout out as I turn 32 today? Says Martin. Happy birthday to Martin. Thanks everyone who's subscribing, by the way. We're getting really close to 390,000. I think now is the time to explain the poll, which is in the chat. As you're fully aware, we're sponsored by Watchalong today. We're doing a watch-along today, Heat. Today's watch-along is supported by Wash and Go. Wash and Go have asked me to find out which United players, both past and present, have the best haircuts. So the poll is in the live chat, and you lot can vote for who you think has got the best haircut from Man United's past and present. To be fair, the only one that's present at the moment is Ronaldo. So who would you go for? We put 4 names forward for you. David Beckham, who had a variety of haircuts. Fellaini, who did have a couple of haircuts. I don't think most people will think of a certain haircut, but he did go short. Paul Pogba had a few. Ronaldo's had a few as well. So get in the votes. Let's see who has the best United haircut, according to the United Stand community. Get your votes in. And while the poll is making its mind up, I would like to tell you that Wash and Go have a bit of an offer going on at the moment on their Amazon page. So if you buy a multi-pack of their classic or sport product, then the price of each bottle works out at less than £1 each, which is pretty unbelievable value for money. So make sure you hit the link in the description and pick yourself up a few bottles of Wash and Go today. That way you can look as amazingly fresh as me. And I do use Wash and Go every day. I've got loads of bottles of it, and it's just good value for money. Shampoo and conditioner, does the job. At the moment, I'm washing my hair 3 or 4 times a day anyway, because it's so hot and sweaty, and I just find it's a fantastically fresh Wash and Go product. So check it out. Thanks again to Wash and Go for sponsoring the United Stand pre-season content. And now we can move on with the stream. I'm going to have a look at this poll, though, just while we're on the subject. So Beckham's winning, which is nice to see. Beckham with 40%. Pogba, 19%, Ronaldo, 21%, and Fellaini with 21% as well. So it's close between Ronaldo, Fellaini, and Pogba. But Pogba, for all the effort and all the haircuts that he gets absolutely pelters for from United fans over the years, all that effort, and he's come forth. Well done to David Beckham. There we go. Currently sitting in the stadium, says Mihailo. Hate the prices of drinks in here. Well, hopefully you're enjoying that drink. Makes no sense for Donny to be sold. He understands Ten Hag's system. Also, if Slabhead starts over Varane, it's definitely politics, says Spirit. Hi, Mark. Hope you don't mind, but everyone will get involved in the United Stands Fantasy Football. Going to be great and looking forward to this match, says Scott. Yeah, if you want to enter the Fantasy Football League we've got, you can join the Members Club. It's the latest video we've got. Get involved with that. Links in the chat. Thanks for anyone who wants to be a member. You also get your exclusive videos and your badges. Lee says, I've done the United Old Trafford tour on Saturday, and the guide said the worst jersey we've ever had was the one we first put Maguire in it. Not many people in the club even like him, says Lee. Bloody hell. Don't give the name of that person, they'll get the sack. So a United tour guide of Old Trafford said the worst kit we've had was the one that we put Harry Maguire in it. Well, I bet it got a few laughs, but yeah, and he's, fair play. If Ronaldo stays, do you think he will start against Brighton? I'm travelling from Ireland to the game and would love to see him play, says Shane. Well, look, Ronaldo does keep himself very fit. Bartes had the best haircut, says Taran. We're going to talk about the strikers in a minute, but Ronaldo does keep himself very fit. But considering we're playing Brighton 2 weeks on Sunday and Ronaldo's not trained with the team yet and won't train with the team until early next week, even if he comes back, I wouldn't expect Ronaldo to start against Brighton. I think the team that's starting today will probably start against Brighton, bar Lisandro Martinez and Eriksen coming in. When are we going to finally shake this McFred obsession? I don't think we ever are, Mike, mate. I don't think we are. Official Napa, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. Pogba was a £100 million Christmas tree. He had that many haircuts and decorations, says Sam. Well, look, Pogba's gone. We wish him all the best. What I will say about Paul Pogba, and I'm sure many of you are going to disagree with me on this, I wish Pogba was still here looking at that midfield because it's shit. I'm sorry, but it is. I knew it was time for Pogba to go and he wanted to go, but the whole point of Pogba and Matic going was to bloody replace them. And like I can't believe we're 2 weeks out from the start of the season and we've still got no replacement for Matic and no replacement for Pogba. And I don't care what anybody says, Matic and Pogba are way better than McTominay and Fred. So we've weakened our midfield and not replaced it. I mean, we've just got no midfield. We really haven't. Fred and McTominay wouldn't start for, I don't think, as a combination, I really don't think they would start for hardly any Premier League sides. They might start for Forest and Fulham and Bournemouth, to be fair, but I don't think there's many other Premier League sides they'd start with. And I'm probably going to get Bournemouth and Fulham and Forest fans saying you're having a laugh. But welcome to the Members Club, Tony Webb. But I don't think they would start for many people. And it's not even about that. I don't mind them as individuals, but as a pairing, they make you want to hurl. And they're just not good enough. And the scariest thing for me is not really that they're not good enough. It's the fact that we've got no backup. Like he's not changed that midfield two in any of the games so far. Every first half team has been McTominay and Fred. Like he really doesn't have any backup. Do you think Bruno and Eriksen play together, says Gallo? And sorry, mate. That's how long, yeah? Okay. McTominay is so underrated, says Cock. I think McTominay's popular with some fans because he looks good in the kit and he speaks good in interviews after the match. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know what you're on about underrated. I thought he was absolutely terrible last season, and we're now in pre-season where I'd expect him to be good against Melbourne Victory, a very weak Liverpool side, and Crystal Palace reserves. Like, I don't know why Fulham's got Polina Marks as Kushina. I don't know why people are hyping up players in pre-season anyway. Ultimately, it will all be about what happens when the season starts. Now, I'm very happy to hype up Zidane Iqbal and Charlie Savage because they're young players who've never played for the first team before and they've not looked out of place. I'm very happy that people like Jadon Sancho and Rashford and Martial are looking better. But I think in the 2 games so far, McTominay's had a 6. I don't think he's tearing up the season at all. I hope he can get better. I thought he played better in the last game, to be fair, because he got forward more, and I hope he gets forward again today. But I don't see much of a challenge from Crystal Palace today. And I think that's a bit of a shame. The reason we won't get much of a challenge from Crystal Palace today, by the way, is that a lot of their players have not come out on the tour because they haven't had the vaccine. So, I don't know a lot about Palace, but their team is this: Butland, Klein, Ward, Anderson, Mitchell, Zaki, Mijalovic, Phillips, Aboe, Mateta, and Ayew. Their bench has got Guaita, Matthews, Rodney, Quick, O'Brien. I'm trying to notice players here. Edwards on the bench. Look, I just don't. We might get surprised, but I really don't feel that Palace team is going to cause as many problems. But look, it's all about progression, and effectively, Eric Ten Hag has come out and said that a lot of players today are going to start playing 60 minutes. So, this is the team. This is the team. Anybody who thinks this is not the team, this is the team. Can't believe we didn't go in for Spence. 12.5 million is a bargain, says Lee. But welcome to the Members Club, Mike Jones. So Eric Ten Hag has come out and said that a lot of players are going to play 60 minutes today. So that means that most of that lot. So if you're Eric Bailly, you're getting half an hour. If you're Zidane Iqbal, you're getting half an hour. If you're Donny van der Beek, you're getting half an hour. So as Rahul says, 60 minutes of McFred. So we're going to get a lot of these players playing for 60 minutes because these are the people in possession of the shirt for the Brighton game at the moment. And I think we're getting to that point now where we've got to look at it and go, how many of these players will be out of the team for the Brighton game? I think Lisandro Martinez or Varane will start. I still think Maguire will start against Brighton. I can't imagine he's picked a captain that won't lead the team out for the opening game. So I think Lisandro Martinez or Varane will start with Maguire on the opening day. I think Eriksen's got a chance of coming into the team. But apart from that, I think that will be the starting lineup. I don't think Ronaldo will be back. I don't think we definitely won't have De Jong. So look, Eric Ten Hag has come out and said that. Simon, welcome to the Members Club, and Hitchy as well. Legends, thank you very much for joining. Please do make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. You're all very, very welcome. And we're gonna go to Adam. Actually, Adam's at the ground. 2 minutes. Should we just quickly hear from Adam? Because I want to talk about the striking situation. I want to talk about Anthony Martial. I've got quite an interesting theory on Martial that I want to discuss with you, actually, about overhyping players and a concern about Martial, which I want to shout out. It was Tyrone Marshall from the Manchester Evening News. I was listening to their podcast the other day, and he made a great point about Martial that I hadn't thought about, and I don't think many of you thought about. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But let's go to Adam, see what he's got to say. He's at the ground.
Okay, we're here at the MCG. It's Crystal Palace against Manchester United. The new white kit is being played in today. The launch was the other day, but who's in the team? Who's playing today? A lot of people have been asking, looking, thinking, are we going to see the same team? Is Ten Hag going to go the same way? I've just mentioned it in the matchday vlog, in fact, before, saying, is Ten Hag going to go with what he's done all the way through, which is play what we all think is his strongest team, first of all. And the first interesting thing about today is, obviously, Luke Shaw was a question. We know we brought Malacia in at left back. Malacia starts tonight. That's interesting. You can look at it two ways. You can look at it, he's just mixing it up at left back while not changing this whole system. But he has talked about Malacia being the all-around left back, the modern-day left back. He's in for Luke Shaw tonight. Now, normally, you'd look at it and say the first half team, going off what Ten Hag's done in the previous two games with Liverpool and Melbourne Victory, is the one that you'd probably expect him to be looking at more as the starters, the ones going into the season. Malacia, Maguire, Lindelof and Dalot at the back with De Gea behind them. Varane, not here. Well, he is here, but he's not in the team. I've not looked at the bench yet to see if he's on the bench, or maybe he's still got a knock. It's a big concern already because we need Varane in the team. The only reason anyone won't have him in the team is because of his injury record. That is a worry already. 2 games missed in pre-season through injury, if that is the case. We'll double check on that one. But midfield, exactly the same as we'd expected. McFred in with Bruno in front of him in the free. And then, interesting enough, Alanga drop for Rashford on the left, Sancho on the right, and Martial keeps his spot at number 9 in the middle. That has been our best combination so far, and our best 3 players, in my opinion, apart from the young lads that have come on, Iqbal, Savage, in the second half, usually through the games. That is your team lineup, everybody. I personally like it. I like to see Malacia playing with our so-called organised best defensive setup. He's been working with Telles and Bailly in the second half normally, but that's the key one today for me. Malacia in for Luke Shaw. Very interesting.
Fantastic. Love that. Love that. Love the view. I think there's going to be a lot of people in the ground as well. We've got to remember about that. We've got to remember that, for some of us, this is about building a team that is broken. But there is a lot of people who are just very positive at that ground, hyped up. First time, maybe the only time they're going to see United. So, yeah, really, really good. And great to get that update from Adam. Obviously, he'll give us some updates after the game as well. Somebody said how long till kickoff? About half an hour. Make sure you smash a like and please subscribe. We're only 10 subscribers away from 390,000 on the road to 400k. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Remember, we're live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 a.m. We have a 2 o'clock show normally as well, although today we won't because I'll be doing my match reaction straight after this. All your latest news, community chat, everything going on here. And a big shout out to Wash and Go, like I say, who are sponsoring the stream and sponsoring the tour for us. David Beckham winning the best haircut poll. If you want to look like my hair, you're going to have to get a haircut like it. But I do use it, Wash and Go, every day. Fantastic shampoo and conditioner. You can get it for a very reasonable price, delivered to your door through the link in the chat, Amazon, or get it down the shops. Jack says, I want to talk about this Martial thing, but Jack says, are you surprised Van der Beek has now been given a start, has not been given a start, especially after playing under Erik Ten Hag at Ajax? Wouldn't be a bad shout to cash in, maybe. Thoughts? Well, yes, Jack. I'm always happy to be driven by the chat. Hitchy, thank you very much. I think it's a great. I want to talk about this Martial thing. I think it's really interesting, but let's hit that for a minute. Am I surprised? Are you surprised that Donny van der Beek hasn't had a start yet? Dice says he's at the game. Atmosphere starting to kick off. Not expecting much, but hopeful. I think you get a good game. I think you're going to get a good game. I think we're going to get a good game. I think we're going to win 3 or 4-0, by the way. Palace are weak. A lot of players like Zaha and Eze and a few others just haven't travelled at all. Vieira was talking about this last night, so it's not ideal, but we'll use the opportunity. United are a lot stronger than Palace, and I think we'll beat them quite comfortably. So there you go. Hi, Mark. United stand is a big part of my life. Thank you, says Werner. Well, you're a big part of our lives. Thank you very much to the community. Let's go back to Jack's comment about Van der Beek then. So am I surprised that Van der Beek's not had a start yet? Yes, I actually am. I really am surprised. I think sat here now, I understand it. He's not played well in either half of the games he's been played, and he'll probably only get half an hour today. My concern with Van der Beek is that that interview with Adam, we did it, right? If you've not watched it on the channel, he did it. And we were talking and we were like, should we even put this up? Because the answers he gave were just so, miserable. And I said, I think you've got to put it up, because I think everyone thinks an interview with a player. Look, I don't think we even need to interview players. I really don't. We're a fan channel. That's what we're about. It's about community. Look, there's things that I say that probably will mean I'll never talk to a player, but I'm not bothered because I'm being honest and I'd rather talk to you than a player. But it's nice to have those opportunities, but it's not always about a player just being really well media trained and saying what you want. Like, we caught Donny van der Beek, and I think that's probably, although people were like, what a crap interview, I actually think it was a brilliant interview, because he just wasn't polished. And I've seen Donny speak. He wasn't polished. He wasn't prepped. He wasn't media trained answers. He was miserable. And I was like talking to Adam afterwards, and I said, there's something not right there. It could be anything. That he could be missing home. It could be he doesn't want to be at United. It could be not well. There could be loads of things. But I think when you combine that with what was said there about, are you surprised that he's not starting? Well, considering this is the manager that made him, the reason everybody wanted Van der Beek was because he played so well for Ajax under Ten Hag. Something's not right. And it could be coming from Donny's side. It could be coming from Ten Hag's side. It could be coming from both. Maybe he just doesn't want to be at United anymore. But I would have expected a player that knows the Ten Hag system really well to have been starting games. And he's not, especially considering Bruno was absolutely dreadful at the end of last season. And so was McTominay. There's 2 spots for Van der Beek there, and he's not started in either of them. So I am surprised. I don't feel he will leave. G Music says Martinez will be Gabriel Hines 2.0. He was good. I mean, Hines never really started that much, though, did he? I think he'll be better than that. Mark, off topic. I'm living in Abu Dhabi, so get yourself over for the Grand Prix in November. We will look after you as a thanks for all you do, says Adam. Mate, I'm up for that. I don't know how we arrange it, but I'm up for that. Ben Archer says, an opinion I might get stuck for, but maybe we need to just accept and support McTominay and Fred. I don't like it, but it seems to be the way. No, I'm not accepting it, Ben. Because the minute you start the minute you start accepting lowering of the standards, you may as well be stoked. Martial always play well when he knows he's the first choice. Will this change if we bring in another striker? Ben, you've hit on the topic I want to talk about in a minute. In the stands, listening to the show, dreading another pub league display from Maguire. Cheers, Mark, says Sean. Start a United stand chant. There seems to be a lot of people in the ground. It's probably about 3. But no, you obviously get better reception in the grounds there than we do over here. Ollie broke him, Mark. His treatment was terrible. He has no confidence. I don't blame him. Feel sorry for him, says Mikael Roach. Well, before we talk about Martial, I just want to, mop up on Donny. Something's not right. It's very, very clear. Obviously, you saw the interview. That was a couple of minutes. Adam and Ryan are at the ground. They saw real time, and they were like, the interview didn't do it justice. He was like, really just not right. And I think that I've got no idea what the problem is with Donny, but I'd sort of go with that one. I think Solskjaer broke him. I do. I think he came to United excited and he got broken. Confidence is broken. And I don't know where his head is at. And for Ten Hag, he won't recognise this player. And he needs players that are going to be reliable. And maybe he's at the moment going, Bruno, McTominay and Fred are ahead of you, Donny, because they've got more confidence. And, you're not integrated into that dressing room. I don't know. I don't think Donny will go, but if he's not starting for the first team at the moment, and you know that Eriksen and De Jong are likely to come, that puts him even further down. I think we're back where we were with Matic and Donny last season, where I just couldn't understand it, that out of all our midfielders, Fred and McTominay were first choice, then it was Pogba, then it was Matic, and then it was Donny. So it was 5th choice last year under Solskjaer. It's amazing, isn't it? But this year, it's McTominay and Fred again. Obviously, De Jong will go ahead of them if we sign him. I think Eriksen will. So he's 5th choice again. This opportunity, and Garner's 6th. So this was meant to be the pre-season where Garner and Donny grabbed their opportunities. And for various reasons, it's just not happened. And it is disappointing. Seems like Erik Ten Hag is trying to somehow morph McFred into his 2nd choice midfield pairing, pending the arrival of Frenkie and Eriksen, says Ree. Is there any reason as to why Hannibal hasn't been played yet? Seems like a no-brainer for CM, says Raskit. Apparently, there's a bit of a conversation about Maybury revolving around his physicality and that he's going to end up getting a personal trainer. Mabry isn't on the bench today as well. The bench is Heaton, Kovar, Bailly, Ahmad, Shaw, Alex Telles, Palestri, Wan-Bissaka, Van der Beek, Alanga, Laird, Chong. Oh no, Hannibal is on the bench. Fish, Garnacho, Savage, and Iqbal. But remember, he wants to play this team for an hour, so a lot of those players probably won't get great game time today anyway. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting, really. See what happens there. Apparently, Cavani's off to Villarreal. That's just breaking this morning. Don't know what you think, what your thoughts are on that. Mark, Tony needs to feel love. Do you think with Ronnie coming back and him obviously going to be pushed back, do you think it will put his head down? To Stephen. Great point. I want to talk about this next. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. We're getting really close to 390,000. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Also, Carlson says Van der Beek needs confidence. This is the third manager and he's a backup. They are working him in slowly until he finds form. 5 subs. I hope that's what's going to happen, Carlson. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I saw a clip on Facebook the other day, and I don't normally watch this sort of thing, but it was a dog. It was a puppy, right? And effectively, it was in a shelter home, and every time the person in the shelter home tried to feed it or stroke it, it was just shaking and like it wanted the ground to swallow it up. And you think, wow, how badly have you been treated then? And then it kept showing the video like a week later and a week later after that. And gradually it was getting more and more confidence to the point where at the end of the video, the dog is in the park, running around, wagging its tail, playing with other dogs, jumping up to its own, to this new owner. And I was like, that's cruelty to animals. That is. I'm not saying that, Solskjaer should be locked up for cruelty to Donny or anything like that. But what I'm saying is it's a good example of a very real break in confidence where, that animal has obviously been badly treated. But it's nothing like that. We're not talking about animal cruelty here, but what we're talking about is confidence. And when you're treated badly, if you're in a relationship and you get treated badly and you break up, your next relationship, you're wary, aren't you? And it can take time to build confidence in people. And maybe with Donny, his confidence is so low, and he's at the same club. Maybe if Ten Hag had brought him back to Ajax, it's a new surrounding. He's still going to lack confidence, but he builds it up again. Remember, Donny's still in the same club that he's been for the last 2 years. It's still the same teammates. It's still the same teammates that were being picked ahead of him. Still the same corridors of Carrington. It's still everything's the same. It's just the manager. Maybe this is about building confidence back. Hopefully it is, because I still believe there's a good player there. But at the moment, he's clearly not good enough in Ten Hag's plans. Either the team is not good enough for Donny, and it's difficult to put Donny in that team. The team's been washed for 2 or 3 years now. I'll send you a message on Instagram. Says Adam, thank you very much. I'm rubbish at looking at messages on Instagram, though, Adam. I will try, but there's so much crap in there. It's hard to find. I'll try my best. Seems like Eric Ten Hag is trying to somehow have done that one. Alternative to take. Could Ten Hag be playing McFred to see how they are? Doesn't start Donny because he already knows what he gives the team, says Scholes. Wonder if Donny needs to return to Ajax for his confidence, says Stephen. Look, I said it the other day. In relation to Donny van der Beek, I'm 50-50 on what his future is going to be at the moment. I really don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's talk about this, though. I do want to talk about this. There's the Palace lineup on the screen for you as well. Remember, we're going to have all the stats on the screen as well. I think this is really important. Kickoff is in 25 minutes, so we're getting closer and closer. All the stats on the screen. Stats have never been so important. Ben, thank you very much for your super chat there. Stats have never been so important as they are under this manager. I think under Solskjaer... Oh, shit, what have I done there? Just broke my thing. They don't last long then. I think under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, possession and all that was just luck, roll of the dice. Under Eric Ten Hag, possession stats are really important. He wants to be over 60%. He wants to be over 70%, really. Whether you can have over 70% in the Premier League every game is going to be really interesting, because that's something that Man City and Liverpool do. So if he can get that possession stat up to 70% in the Premier League week in, week out, that's what he wants. He should do it today. It's a weak Palace side. So we're looking at possession stats today again. We're looking at how many passes. We're looking at how many shots. Those 3 things really important in a Ten Hag Ajax side, and he'll want to bring that to Manchester United. So watch out for those things, definitely, indeed. Let's talk about this Martial thing, because I feel that I've been building it up for a long time. Please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, only 10 away from 390,000. Bottom right-hand corner, get involved with the United Stand. You're very welcome from all around the world. Join the United Stand community. Okay, we've got a little interview. Okay, I think we've got a little interview with James Ducker coming up on the screen for you, a little insight as well from him. We'll pop that up on the screen. A journalist on the Watchalong. But I do want to talk about this Martial thing very, very quickly. So somebody's mentioned it in the chat, so I'll give them the shout out. I wouldn't want Pogba playing if he was still here, says Andy. I'd still love Pogba to be here rather than Fred or McTominay, to be honest with you. I know that's probably a little bit controversial, but I definitely would. So basically, I was listening to the Manchester Evening News podcast the other day, and one of their journalists said that they were basically talking about Martial. Martial's got a very strong following in this fan base, Martial FC. He's a divider, but he has got loyalty. I like Martial. I'm not going to pretend that I don't. And basically, they posed the question of, is Martial actually good enough for Manchester United? Or is he actually a player that, you know, it's just pre-season, it's hype, he scored a couple of goals. Piz says, are you still 90% on Frankie de Jong? Yes, I am. And they made the point that Anthony Martial tends to do well in a Manchester United shirt when he's got no competition. When he was brilliant in that season for Van Gaal. Van Gaal got the sack. Mourinho came in, took his shirt, gave it to Zlatan. Martial fell apart. He was doing reasonably well on the left wing in the January that we bought Sanchez. Sanchez came in, he fell apart. Cavani was meant to be brought in as a backup, really. He fell apart. Ronaldo, he fell apart. He doesn't do well when he's not the main man. Is that a point for concern? Well, I think it's a great point, because if Ronaldo comes back, Martial's second choice. If Ronaldo doesn't come back, we'll buy a striker to compete with Martial, maybe like the Cavani situation. So whatever happens with Martial, he's going to get the competition this season that has made him lose his form in the last 4 years. He is going to have competition next year. He may be first choice if Ronaldo goes, but we'll bring a striker in to compete, which hasn't gone well in the past. Or he'll be second choice striker, which hasn't gone well in the past. So I think the onus is on Martial. I like Martial. I think he's more talented than Rashford. I think he's got better technique than Rashford. I think he's a very, very, very talented player who has questionable commitment when he's under pressure. He didn't do well at Sevilla. He hasn't been good at United for the last 2 years, really. That concerns me about Martial. But I also think we're in a fortuitous position with Martial, because not many clubs lose Ronaldo and then have a player of the quality of Martial that they can bring in. So I think I look at Martial as a positive. I like him. At times, I thought he was going to be one of the best strikers in Europe. So I like Martial, and I'm always going to favour him and back him. But there has to be question marks. Of course there does. And what I would say is that Erik ten Hag does have this ability that nobody knows yet. I think it's completely fair to say that Martial has bottled it. When Zlatan came, when Cavani came, when Ronaldo came, when Sanchez came, it causes an issue with Martial where he bottles it. He can't take competition and fight it. But that was different managers. This is Erik ten Hag. And look at what Erik ten Hag did with Sebastian Haller last year. Look at what he's done with Tadic as a false nine as well. I think this is a mentality game with Martial, and it's a mentality game with Ten Hag. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it works out. Because what we need from Martial, could Anthony... I've read that one from Scholes Ping, but it's an interesting point. I think with Martial, he is going to be the backup striker. That's the plan. Can Ten Hag make him appreciate that position? And I think we go back to what I said 2 months ago. I did a video right at the start of the transfer window, and I said the end of Anthony Martial. And a lot of people agreed that it is. And I said, I don't think it should be. We can't sell him. He's on 250 grand a week. We can't sell him. Nobody will pay him those wages. And loaning him costs us money. The logical situation for me back in May with Martial was Ten Hag sits him down, gets in his head and says, look, I believe you're a good player. You're going to play a lot, because if Ronaldo's here, he can't play Thursday, Sunday anyway. So you're going to start a lot of games. You're going to come on in a lot of games. I've got 5 subs. I'm not telling you staying at United for the next 3 years. So don't get depressed. But I'm telling you now, you're going to stay at United for the next year. You might even get in the World Cup squad for France if you start the season well. You never know. But give me a year. Play well. Clubs will want you. You get your move. Give me a year, play well. You might not want to move, but you're not going anywhere this summer because no one's going to buy you. We're not taking a hit on you, and we're not paying your wages on loan again. So you're staying at United for a year, but I ain't going to do Mourinho and say you're playing with the reserves. I want you to play. I want you buzzing in training. I want you giving absolutely everything. I want a smile on your face, and I want to use you because I think you're a good player. Now, I might not start you every game because I've got Ronaldo, but I will start you in games. You can play off the wing as well. So when Ronaldo plays, you might play off the left. You're a big part of my plans. Put a smile on your face, give me everything for a year. And in a year's time, if you've given me everything and you still want to go, we'll get you a move because you'll have played well. If you come back and say, I want to stay, we'll probably keep you. So that's, I think, what Ten Hag is doing. The risks about whether he'll deliver, of course, are there. Mark, I don't know why managers really love McFred. Brazil's coach is called Fred world class, and McTominay's now always first team for Scotland. You're contradicting yourself, Myron. McTominay plays centre-back for Scotland anyway. Can't get in their midfield. Wake up at 5 a.m. here in Minnesota to see McFred start. Am I actually awake or am I having a nightmare? Says Nate. And Texas C, thank you for being a member for 20 months, you legend. Right. Have we got this lined up or no, you would have told me, haven't you? Okay. So we're going to hear from James Ducker in a minute, who's a journalist for The Telegraph. Very well briefed when it comes to Manchester United. I'd put him in there. I almost want to give him a boy band name. They're like the Take That of the Manchester United correspondent world. I don't know who the lead singer is, but you've got Laurie Whitwell, James Ducker, Samuel Luckhurst, Simon Stone, and there is another one. I can't think who it is, but they're very close to the club, and they do get good information. And we've got James Ducker now. We're going to go to James Ducker now and listen to what he's got to say. Adam's been talking to him in the media zone at the game. Let's go.
Hi guys, here at the MCG. I'm here with James Ducker of The Telegraph. James, thanks for coming on talking to us. Just want to get a quick sort of idea of how you're looking at this game today in terms of the lineup. Malacia, some have spoken about him being cover for Luke Shaw. He starts tonight. Is that still the case in your eyes, Malacia as a backup? And obviously, do you reckon this is as close to the first team as we're going to see in terms of going ahead into the season?
Yeah, it definitely is close to the first team, I think, as you get, with the exception of Shaw, Malacia for sure. Obviously, David De Gea's back in goal. I think he wants to give Malacia game time. He's new to the club. He wants him to bed in. And I don't know much about him. I mean, I haven't seen a great deal about him before, but he looks fairly tidy on the ball. And I think he's going to be quite keen to have someone pushing Luke Shaw there. It's not really happened, as it with Tellez. So yeah, good to see him getting a run out tonight.
Happy with the front three again. Rashford back in for Elanga tonight as well.
Yeah, I mean, what happens with Rashford this year? I mean, it's a critical season for him. I mean, I think this is a make or break season for Rashford in his United career, and I think Ten Hag is excited about. I mean, he's obviously stagnated to the point of regression last season, but there is a player in there.
Yeah,
but I think if he can be better coached and he can be given that platform and the structure, bit of consistency of position, it's then on him.
Yeah, no excuse.
There isn't an excuse, and he's going to have to sort his finishing out. I think the exciting one, Sancho.
Agreed.
He's been very clear, isn't he? You're playing on the right, mate, and
that's what we want to see.
Rashford on the left. I mean, it's. I mean, they claim that they also had him, with the left in mind, and it's like, well, you've already had about 4 players who played in that position. Yeah. So, but he's at home there. I think there's been some interesting link-ups from an attacking point of view with him and Dalot. Defensively, we'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, there is threat there. There's pace there. Yeah. Sancho on his day is a nightmare to play against. And I think if the De Jongs and the Erikssens can come into that, then I think they could be really, those wide players could be really liberated.
That is it.
But Maguire, I'll be interested to see when Maguire. Look, he's backed him as captain.
Yeah,
he hinted in an interview to us that he's going to be first choice centre half. Didn't cover himself in glory in the first 4 minutes against Melbourne. Look, it was collectively a poor goal. It should never have got to that point. But I do have concerns about him playing a high line. I think you have to read the game superbly there. But yeah, you do need recovery pace.
You do,
and
indeed.
And that was exposed, his lack of it the other night. So he's coming off a very poor season. There's a big onus on him, and he needs a good pre-season.
He does. That's our thoughts on the team lineup for tonight. Cheers for James coming on and giving his thoughts on tonight's game and the team lineup, everybody. Hopefully we get as good a game as we have in the last.
Okay, we're back, and really interesting interview there from James Ducker. Thanks for him for doing that, and I think we've got a proper interview with him coming up on the channel a little bit later about transfers and stuff, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, nice of him to do that for us. It's been a good experience actually out on the tour for Adam and Ryan. They've been talking to a lot of journalists, and it's been good, very good. So we are approaching kickoff. It's 10 minutes away, 12 minutes away. So big shout out to Wash and Go as well. They are sponsoring this tour. They've made it all possible. So big shout out to them. You can scan your QR code with Watch and Go as well. I've noticed that. I've been streaming for an hour. I've just noticed we've got a QR code that you can scan. Or you can click the link in the video description as well. Get yourself some Wash and Go delivered to your door. 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. I use it every day. Fantastic little product. Well priced as well. And it's a very apt promotion sponsor for United Stand, because we are trying to wash and go. We're trying to wash all the crap from last year and go fresh for this season. Unfortunately, I'm still very concerned. I'm very positive. I'm looking forward to the game. I think this is an easy game for United. I think in many ways it won't be as easy as Melbourne victory, and Melbourne gave us a good game. The standard of this Crystal Palace second team will still be higher than that of Melbourne victory, but I think we will coast this. I really do. I think it'll be a good workout for us, and I think we'll win quite comfortably. But I would like to see that team more freshened up. I don't think I'm in the minority here. It's not even, jokes aside about Magaluf and McFred and whatever. I just expected this team to be, if you'd have said to me in the middle of May that on the 19th of July, we'd be playing our third pre-season game and that would be the lineup, I'd have said, you're having a fucking laugh. What you on about? Why? What's going on? Why? Because when you go through that team, De Gea, obviously, you'd expect him to start. Delo, okay, I'd expect him to start. I wouldn't expect us still to be playing Maguire and Lindelof. Now, I know Varane would start and Sandro Martinez has been bought, so you've got to temper that a little bit, but they're still starting today. Malacia at left back, nice to see that. That's a new signing. I would have said, oh, who's that? That's good. But that midfield three of McTominay, Fred and Bruno, I would have gone, what? Why are we still doing that? And the reality is we're still doing that because apart from Donny, there's no one else you're going to play. Front three of Rashford, Sancho and Martial. I'd have been like, well, where's Ronaldo and Anthony? But yeah, I mean, there's positives about that team. And I think they've played well on the tour so far. And I think they'll play well today. But my concerns is really the freshening up of the team. I just don't see enough freshness in that team. The midfield is really short now. We've literally not replaced Matic and Pogba, which is stunning. Absolutely stunning. I thought we were short in mid. Well, it's not slow sport. It's news. We were very short in the midfield last year, but we had Matic and Pogba. We haven't got them now, so we are weakened in the midfield. And I'm very worried about the front three as well, because as much as I think Rashford can have a good season and Sancho looks better, where's the backup to those players? I heard somebody say this morning, and Magic says, with the transfer window closing end of August, can we convince Ronaldo to start the season? If he's still not happy, he can leave. Well, that's what Ronaldo did with Juventus. He started the season and then he left. So even if he does start the season, it doesn't mean he's not going to leave. Mark, what type of membership do I need at MUFC to watch the pre-season games? Says Eddie. I think you just subscribe to MUTV, Eddie. I don't think you need them. I didn't know there was membership tiers. So somebody was saying this morning that we don't need to buy. Anthony anymore because Sancho's playing so well off the right. And this was a comment or a podcast or something. I heard it somewhere. I thought I'll bring this into the show because I'm like, there was a Champions League final a few years ago, and it was Bayern Munich against PSG, and that was the moment where I went, football's changed, because I looked at the bench of both those teams and I was like, both those benches are virtually another team, because how many people can you have on the bench in the Champions League? I think it's 10, isn't it, or something like that. And I looked at the bench of PSG and Bayern Munich, and I was like, fucking, they'd win the Premier League nearly. That bench would nearly win the Premier League. And I was like, football's changed. Football's changed because it's now about squads. It's not about your first 11. It's now about squads. And especially with 5 subs coming in next year, and you're playing twice a week, and there's a World Cup. More football is about squads now. Look at Man City. Look at Chelsea. They've got amazing quality and depth on their bench. So when people say, well, we don't need to buy Anthony because we've got Sancho on the right now, and we've got Rashford on the left, my instant reaction is, I'll go back to that Champions League final. I'll go back to 5 subs this year. I go back to World Cups. I go back to squad depth. I go back to the fact that a lot of teams are expected to play well over 50 games in a season now, not counting international games. You can't go into a season and say we don't need Anthony because we've got Sancho on the right. Well, what happens when Sancho needs a rest, or he gets injured, or he's playing badly? Same with Rashford. Well, you can play Elanga. Great. He's proven, isn't he? He's a young player. If Sancho's out for 2 months injured, we're playing Elanga every week. What a drop-off that's going to be. And it's not even Elanga's fault. It's a massive drop-off. Squad depth is really important. Where is the squad depth in that team on the wing? Sancho and and let's not forget, I like Rashford. I think Rashford's going to do well. Half of our fan base thinks he's crap and he shouldn't even be here. So Jadon Sancho, fine. I think most people think Sancho's going to be really, really good. I think Rashford's going to be good. Some people don't. But that's it. That is it. That is our wingers for the whole season. 60 games where you can make 5 subs, where there's a World Cup, Thursday, Sunday, and people are saying, we're fine. We've got Sancho and Rashford. So, yeah, we're massively short in the midfield. I think we're massively short on the wings. And I think we're massively short up front at the moment. Even if Ronaldo comes in, I still think we're short up front. Goldbridge, aren't you surprised we're not going for a defensive midfielder this summer? We're down bad, says Lemon. I am. I think we're short in a lot of ways at the moment. But there's still a few weeks left of the window. And, you know, I do also really think that Erik ten Hag, part of his job is to do it on the cheap, and part of his job is to utilise what he's got, because we haven't replaced players yet in key areas, and we are running quite weak in key areas. Notice how Glazers have backed Erik ten Hag with cheapest signings and not the expensive ones. Gives the impression that he's been Casey Fale's thoughts is correct. No. I think there is complete and utter backing of Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. I think Manchester United actually are desperate to bring in players like Anthony and De Jong, and ideally they would have brought them in by now. The reality is it's not through lack of trying. It's just through, unfortunately, what happens with United a lot is that we're just not good at transfers. I don't think they're not backing Ten Hag. I think they do want to back Ten Hag. I mean, look, how much they're going to back him by is going to be really interesting when we actually do get the net spend at the end of the month. But yeah, I mean, I'll read this out. Brian Robson on MUTV. When I was speaking to Darren Fletcher, he said he's probably the quickest at the club. Sign Usain Bolt up front. I mean, this ain't a game. This ain't FIFA 2018. Like, if you've got pace, you're going to win. Like, it's not. I mean, I don't know what the context of that is, but so what? So what? I remember being about, oh God, it was years ago. Saint and Greavesy, if anyone can remember that, you're of a certain age. It was basically the ITV alternative to Football Focus on a Saturday lunchtime. And they did this thing where it was to find the quickest player in the Football League. So it was before the Premier League. It would have been like maybe 1990 or something like that. And they did this thing to find the quickest player in Football League. And the winner, I remember the name to this day. I can't remember what club he played for, though. I think his name was John Williams. And I think he was an ex-postman. And I think he played for Cambridge, who were not in the top league. I don't think they were even in the top 2 leagues. So just because you're fast doesn't make you world class. You got to do something with it. And I think from Elanga's point of view, I think it's going to be a really interesting season. But I'm not getting hyped about Elanga just because he's fast. I think we've got to be patient with our young players. But I don't think Elanga's... Look, if Jadon Sancho pulled his hamstring today and was out for the first month, I'd be very worried about Elanga and Rashford being our wingers, put it that way. I think there's still a lot of development with Elanga. I respect Rangnick for throwing him in. And I think he had to use him ahead of Rashford last year because Rashford was really disappointing. But I also think with Elanga, people are expecting the finished product, and he was thrown in at the deep end for various reasons last year, and there's still a lot of development there. Sean says, I believe the ability but lacks the... Martial has the ability but lacks the elite mentality needed to perform for Manchester United week in, week out. There you go. There you go. Interesting point. Let me just get this going. There we go. So, just getting my stream up on the screen so I can see you, good people. And that. Don't do that. I want you there. Okay, I want to be able to see the chat. So, we are 2 minutes away from the start of this game. As I say, not massively expecting much from Palace. No disrespect. I think Palace would agree with me on this as well. They're a very weakened side with a few people not able to make it for vaccination reasons. Salong, thank you very much for joining the Members Club. Appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner, and don't forget to check out Wash and Go. You can scan the QR code, or you can go through the link in the description. They're sponsoring the stream. 2-in-1, shampoo and conditioner, fantastic little product. And Don says, why not disrespect them? Well, I just want the context of this. I expect us to win, and I expect us to win comfortably. I think we might win 3 or 4-0 because that's a weak Palace side. I'm interested to see what happens if our new signings flop, because United scouts had players, and I think their centre-back opinion of Torres is better than what we've just got, says Sean Tonner. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, we're about to start off here. Looking forward to it. I think it's a step up as well for United, regardless of the fact that it's Palace's second team. It is a step up. Now, I didn't watch Palace play Liverpool, and I don't know what team Liverpool picked. I think they lost 2 or 3-0. But hopefully they'll just give us a bit of a kick up the arse. And, what do you think of the story from Ducker about United considering extending Ronaldo's contract to next year? Will that security make him happy, says Majek? I don't know. It's a lovely stadium, though. I think this is a cricket stadium, isn't it, really, in Melbourne? It looks like it's cricket. Anyway, match is about to start here. Let's get ready. We're looking at shape here. We're looking at shape. We're looking at, possession stats. We're looking at how we look after the ball. United in their new away kit as well. It's a cool stadium, says Ellie. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. And please share the video. We've got nearly 30,000 watching. So get involved this Tuesday morning. Malacia starting at left-back. Looks confident. Looks excited. Don't know much about this Palace side. I mean, obviously, they played us off the park at the end of last season. But it's a very different Palace side. And obviously, it's a very different Manchester United side as well. Well, it's not a very different Man United side. It's a very different Manchester United style with that. So they take the knee, and referee starts the game. There you go. We're up and running. Straight into Fred. McTominay has a look and goes backwards. Into Maguire, who's playing right-sided centre-back. So, Maguire already knows that his position is not going to be left-sided centre-back. He's trying to get used to that right-sided centre-back position. Does Eric Ten Hag sticking with Maguire as captain mean that there is no chance Varane Martinez is the first choice centre-back pairing? Surely Harry stays first choice, says Fott. Well, look, Maguire always played left-sided centre-back. Bad pass into Delo there. It's gone for a throw-in. Maguire always played left-sided centre-back. He's now moved to right-sided centre-back. Somebody's saying that Maguire's getting booed. I doubt it. But I don't think the Australian crowd would be booing Maguire. Sancho down the right-hand side. Bit of a break here for Martial. Slips it to Rashford. Gives it into Martial. He'll shoot over the bar. Good bit of play from United there. We're forcing ourselves to believe that Martial, Rashford are brilliant. In fact, they've let us down more often than not. Realistic hope is essential, says Darshan. Just going back to that question from Fott about Maguire starting over Varane and Lisandro Martinez. Well, I think that's the logical thing to think at the moment. But I would say that Varane is better than Maguire and Lisandro Martinez will play left-sided centre-back. So let's just wait and see. I think Maguire will start the season, and you know what? Starting the season gives you possession of the shirt. But look, I hope Maguire plays well for United. I keep saying this. Do I think he will consistently? No. I think the limitations of Maguire are the same. Somebody said, like, oh, you know, the goal that he conceded at the weekend, it was his first game back. It's his first pre-season game, and he's probably not fully fit. And I think, well, hold on a minute. It's not like he's going to find 2 yards of pace. You know, he's not Sonic the Hedgehog, is he? He's not going to suddenly go, whoom. He's slow. There's lots of goals that he conceded because of that. So, look, I just can't understand. And if we only had Lisandro Martinez, Lindelof and Maguire, I think there's a very strong case that you play Maguire and Lisandro Martinez over Lindelof. Some people would probably prefer Lindelof. But I can't even debate Maguire versus Varane. I just can't. Everything about them, not forgetting their Wikipedia pages, you know, Varane's got Champions Leagues and World Cups, and Maguire's got relegations. But even taking that apart, which you have to take into account, because if you have won 4 Champions Leagues and a World Cup, you're probably a bloody good player. But Varane is just better than Maguire. It's just fitness, isn't it? That's what it's all about. United have got a free kick here. Bruno fouled, so it's not very close to goal, but it's an opportunity to get the ball out wide, which we have done. McTominay, wayward pass, and Palace pick it up. But a good intensity to this game so far. I've got... Come on, Palace, beat this pub team, says Zane. I don't think that's going to happen, Zane. I think this Palace side... Well, I would say about the Palace front three, though, it has got a bit of pace in it. So they will look to exploit Lindelof and Maguire's high line. It'll be interesting to see how high that line is, actually. At the moment, that line is right on the edge of its box as we play out from the back. And Palace are... I mean, look, as well, this might be a weakened Palace side, but I like the shape. Again, I mean, put respect on Vieira's name. He's been a very impressive coach in the Premier League. And, you know, we're not playing Burnley. Goldbridge thinks 4-0 Liverpool equals World Cup win, says Alex. No, I don't. A lot of people saying Maguire's getting booed. I can't understand why he would get booed. Who would boo him? Like, surely it's mainly United fans in that ground. Maguire is indeed getting booed, says him. I don't get it. I don't get it. Explain that to me in the chat. I mean, I don't agree with boos really, but I don't know what that's about. United just passing it about the back. Here is Maguire. Into Fred. Good pass by Fred there. Getting it into the feet of Martial. Forward pass, but the layoff is lost. Lindelof got bullied there. Don't need to worry about Lindelof too much because he's not going to be playing. But it's Ayew up against Maguire here. Maguire shepherds it out for a goal kick. Could be worse. We could have just appointed Poch and be in the middle of a Harry Kane transfer saga, having just signed Torres and Richarlison, says Michael Neal. Hi, Mark. I'm from Australia and at the game, Maguire is getting booed badly. Billy, why? Why do you think it is? Maguire is suddenly right centre-back because that's where he wants to play now, because he knows he won't be playing left-sided centre-back because that's where Lisandro Martinez is going to play. So Maguire has moved to right centre-back. Obviously, Ten Hag's had to allow that to happen. Mike says they're booing him because he's crap. Here's Martial, Sancho, Malacia. Lovely quick ball by Malacia. Could lead to a chance. Oh, Palace just get it out. But he played a really good ball in. Now Martial. Oh, he tries to feed McTominay. United pressing in Palace there. But this is where United need to be careful. On the break. Lindelof loses it. United win it back. Here's Bruno. Come on, let's use the space here. Sancho on the left. Bit of space to run in. Flicks it into Bruno. Bruno goes wide again. That's a bad ball by Bruno. There's no one on the right because Sancho, Rashford and Martial are all on the fucking left. I thought it was a good ball by Bruno, but we couldn't see from the camera angle. There was nobody there. Good link-up play between Martial and Sancho, though. It was an interesting ball from Bruno there, because I think last season he would have shot, and he probably should have had a shot because there was no one there. Thoughts on the start, Mark? Says Dia. I think it's more of the same from what we've seen from the last couple of games. Probing play in the final third, and then Palace just looking to hit us on the break. And I think that's going to happen a lot. I'll be a lot happier when we've got Lissandro Martinez. I mean, I don't know whether it will happen, but I would be a lot happier with Lissandro Martinez and Varane. I think if you get that pace into the team, then you don't have to be fearful of being caught on the break as much. You still will get caught on the break, but it's not as much of a problem. But as we saw against Melbourne Victory, you're just always a little bit concerned with Lindelof and Maguire that if they do work that ball into the channel, that they will work an opportunity. There we go. Maguire being booed every touch, similar to Beckham. Didn't think it would come to the other side of the world, though, says Mark Perez. McTominay didn't come for the ball. That's what Bruno was waiting for. Positive starts. Mark, take the offer of the Abu Dhabi GP in November. I'll be there from Wednesday to Tuesday. Be great to meet you for a pint and chat United, says Liam Deb. This is very early stuff, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with this. Sis says that Eric Ten Hag is giving out instructions because they're out of shape. Much quicker movement of the ball from United, though. I think we've seen that in the last couple of games, and the more and more they work. Fred's done well there. Nicely into Martial. Good save. Good save. Should have been 1-0. Good play. So close. Nice ball by Fred. Martial probably should have scored, but it was a good ball by Fredina. I think Dividendino is going to be better than Fredino, but it's going to cost us more money anyway. But we are definitely moving the ball a lot quicker. Fred there. We're back on the halfway line. But look how high. This is what I'm talking about, the centre-backs. Look how high Lindelof and Maguire are here, on their own, defending as well. This terrifies me. It really does. Maguire does well there. And Malacia into the goalkeeper. But this is the whole point. This is what we're talking about. Fred does really well. Martial was probably offside on VAR, but not on a pre-season tour, and the keeper did well. But look at Lindelof and look at Maguire when we're on the attack. They're 10 yards in the half. Great save by the keeper, actually. 10 yards in the half. They're really part of that press, and we really are trying to suffocate teams and pin them in. Probably a little bit early for the stats. We don't normally. Oh no, they have just come up on the screen. Next time they come up, I'll have a look. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. By the way, make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We're on the road to 400k. Good save by the keeper. I mean, he doesn't look at the save, but he's made himself big, and it's actually his right hand that saves it. He's probably hurt it, to be fair. So there's the stats on the screen. We've got 64% possession so far. We've played 58 passes to their 41. Passing accuracy, 83%, one shot on goal. So yeah, I think Ten Hag will be reasonably happy with that in the first 10 minutes. What we're looking to do is probably have 200 more passes than them by 90 minutes and around 70% possession and double-figure shots. Let's see. Look how confident Maguire is carrying the ball forwards, making great passes and interceptions. Someone both Varane and Lindelof lacks, as Martin. Martin, you could be genuine, but part of me thinks you're probably a family member. Michael Neal says, how has pre-season games compared against that game near end of last season? Where will we slick? Remember game matter and Matic played, says Michael New. Keeper's injured here at the moment. Palace. Keeper might be a keeper change here. Palace doing what I think a lot of teams are going to do to us next season. Compact, hit on the break with a bit of pace. Early days, obviously, but seem to be more of an emphasis on creating chances for centre forward, moving the ball quickly. Ronaldo would clean up, says Kieran. I just hope Ronaldo gives it a chance. All we're saying is give it a chance, you know? Big shout out to Wash and Go for sponsoring the stream, by the way. Butland's the keeper. Is it holding up? Yeah, I know. It makes you feel buggy, yeah. Kieran Byrne, welcome to the Members Club. Butland's coming off. Sean Turner says, you can see the players moving the ball quicker and there's more options for people on the ball. Fred can adapt to style, but from what I've seen, McTominay can't. He's crap. You know what, Sean? I think Fred has suited this system. Yeah, I would agree with that. We're back up and running now. And I see you there. Watch the overlap. Shot straight at De Gea. Don't know what he was shooting for from there. But yeah, we're definitely going to never play it's definitely going to never be in Ten Hag's plan to play McTominay, Fred, and McTominay, Fred, and McTominay, Maguire, and Lindelof. They may play games, they may start games, but there's just no way he's going to want to play Lindelof and Maguire because they're so vulnerable to pace. One of them will drop out, and there's just no way he will want to play McTominay and Fred if he gets De Jong, and maybe Eriksen will drop in there as well. So I think that they are areas that we all know are weak, but they also don't fit the Ten Hag way. I just put a tweet out there about Fred. I don't know whether Fred will end up being a starter, but if Fred can improve his passing accuracy, this sort of football, it suits Fred. Fred's terrible in a team that's slow because he takes a touch and he passes it out for a throw-in. Fred's much better in a game where it's high intensity. You know, he can chase the ball down. He can push the press. He can pass it quickly. Yeah, he'll make mistakes. I mean, he's got the ball here. He won't make a mistake there because he'll go back to Maguire. But the intensity suits Fred. I don't know whether he'll start. He might be a bench player, but I do think it will suit Fred. Ricky to get excited seeing number 8 and think it's Mata. So Steve Locke. Palace pressing United a bit here. Fred does quite well, gets it into Delo. Delo's, I tell you what, Delo's looking good on the ball. I thought it was McTominay for a minute, and then I thought there's no way McTominay could flick it like that. So Delo's looking good on the ball as well. Every touch he gets, Maguire's getting booed, says RM. Thank you very much for the super chat there. Oh, my eyes have gone there. Blurry. Probably heat. Let's have a drink. Wash and Go changed my life. I used to have bad dandruff. Now, says Thomas. Rashford gives it away there. Been a bit quiet, Rashford, so far. Not a lot happening down the left-hand side. Sancho's wandering in a lot. If Ronaldo goes, which positional striker or DM becomes more essential to fill, says Praise. Well, if Ronaldo goes, we need a striker. You can't just go into a season with one striker. I can sense a Maguire corner from a header, says Manmit. Martial! 1-0. Manchester United. Dalot. It's 3-3 for Tony the Tiger. And I think it's Dalot with the cross. And Manchester United take the lead. And look, that's confidence for Martial. There's a lot of talk about Martial and whether he's going to be good enough for Manchester United. Well, he's scoring goals that I think are not Martial-like. And I think that's the positive thing for me. Let's watch it back again. It's with Malacia on the left-hand side. He switches it nicely out to Dalot, who's basically playing as a right winger. I mean, he is offside, but not in a pre-season friendly game. It's a lovely cross by Dalot. Lovely, lovely touch by Dalot as well. Look at this first touch by Dalot. Chests it down, bit of skill with the right foot, lovely cross with the left foot, lovely take by Martial, 1-0. I tell you what, give the credit to Dalot here. Absolutely superb. Inverted wing backs working well, says Dylan. Started with Malacia. Wow, it's a good ball by Malacia, but you've got to give the credit to Dalot there. Lovely take by Martial. Superb, mate. Superb. Lovely, lovely goal by Martial, but absolutely fantastic by Dalot. 1-0. I thought there were VAR in it then. I was going to say it's bloody pre-season. Yeah, lovely play by Dalot. I think Dalot started the game off really well as well. I've seen him do a few flicks and stuff. I mean, fancy flicks aren't what it's all about, but the way he took it down with his chest, took it away with the right, and then instantly put it in with the left. Lovely bit of play. Lovely bit of play. They wanted a handball on Martial. I think he was probably offside in the Premier League as well, but it's pre-season. Get on with it. 1-0 to United. Martial smiling. I don't know whether he controlled it with his hand, but it's pre-season, you know. Malacia driving forward here. Bit of a heavy touch. Goes out for a throw-in. 3-3 for Martial. Somebody just said they're loving the wing play from Rashford and Sancho. I've not seen anything from Rashford in this game so far. I mean, I've seen plenty of Sancho, but not really seen anything from Rashford. Maybe I'm being unfair there. I don't know. But I think we need to get Rashford into the game a little bit more, to be honest. Maybe they thought Rashford crossed it. It was Rashford. It wasn't Rashford. It was Malacia. Is Dalot right-footed, says Joe. He is, but he did play left back before we bought him. So he can use his left foot, as he just shown there. Here's McTominay driving forward. Nice ball into Bruno. And Palace pick it up. What's your thoughts on Dalot? Could he be our right back, says Jack? Well, he will be our right back. We need another right back. You know, I think what Ten Hag wants to do is replicate what he's got at left back. Luke Shaw may be the first choice, but maybe it's Malacia. That's what you want. You want good competition in both. The problem we've got with Dalot is that whether he's the right back or not, I think he is the right back. But lovely play here by Palace. Good save by Dalot. Not Dalot. He's not in goal. De Gea. Good bit of play there. But yeah, we need competition at right back for Dalot, because if Dalot gets injured, we're playing Wan-Bissaka, aren't we? So good play by Palace here. Is it Aboué? Takes out Fred. I mean, that's the bad side of Fred there, leaping in, but good save by De Gea. Goes for a corner. Cross comes in. Headed away. Fred on the edge. And another corner, is it? Yeah. Palace haven't really done much on the attack so far. Delo, what a goalie. I meant De Gea, claps. I did correct myself on that one. Ronaldo needs to join up now. It's a joke, says Johnny. I think he'd benefit. I think Ronaldo would benefit in a team like this. I hope he does come back. Obviously, he's not going to be on the tour, but hopefully next season. Martial keeps scoring. Well, you know what it says to me? There's goals. I will say this, and I've said it many a time, and so have many of you. Header one just goes wide. We've spoken about Man United under Mourinho, under Solskjaer, under Rangnick. It's a graveyard shift up front. Whether you're Martial, Cavani, Ronaldo, it's been a graveyard shift for a few years at United up front. Whatever you think about pre-season, and it is pre-season, and the opposition are weak. You know, I think we've been stronger in every game so far on paper. But Martial's getting chances. And the goals that he's scoring, I mean, all right, the goal against Liverpool was about his pressing, but it was a good finish. But the last 2 goals he's scored are service goals. They've been put on a plate for him and he's took them. And that's encouraging as a fan, because service goals are something that I don't actually see much of from Manchester United. You think of some of Ronaldo's goals last year, a lot of his goals were brilliant goals. Like, remember the one at Atalanta? He just sort of makes it out of himself. So there's goals to be scored in this team if you're a striker. And that's a good thing for us. Tommy with the foul there. That would be a booking in the Premier League, I think. Yeah. Bit late on AU, but it's pre-season. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to the game on Saturday. Villa have got a strong squad, and they've brought a strong squad out with them as well. So I think it will be a really good end to the tour. If you're going to the Villa game in Perth, I'm looking forward to that one. You never know how it's going to work out, do you? Because Liverpool was a big game, but it was the first game, and you know, I've watched lots of pre-season tours, as I'm sure many of you are, and you see you playing Real Madrid and Barcelona, and then you realise it's Real Madrid's first pre-season game, and it's your third, and you win. It's like, wow, it's pre-season, and it's not really a test. But I think the Villa game on Saturday is going to be a good one. I'm hoping the Atletico Madrid game will be as well, and the Rayo Vallecano games, because they're we're closer to the start of the season and teams are fitter and they're starting to put their best teams out. And I think Villa on Saturday will be good. I think Palace, unfortunately, they're just missing so many players. I don't know how many players they didn't bring on the tour, but apparently a lot of it was to do with them being unvaccinated and they weren't too sure about the rules. So it's a good workout for United, but it's not a particularly strong Palace side, unfortunately. PJC says, Mark, pre-season is about fitness. No, not really. I think those days have gone now. You know, running up and down the sand dunes and all that nonsense that used to occur in the 80s. I don't think that really happens now at the moment. So it's actually about ball work. Yeah, some of the Crystal Palace players, Carlos, are not vaccinated from COVID. So when they were planning the trip, I think they thought there'd be issues travelling over here, so they left some behind. Corner to Man United anyway. Martial with the cross, headed away. Oh, there's a player down injured for United here. I think it might be Delo. Mark, can you please take us through your FPL Game Week 1 teams? This is super duper. I've done it. I've done a video. It's on the members section. Check it out. Any idea why Maguire is being booed, says Brian. It's Malasiri went down there. The quality of the passing around the back's poor, says Runa. I think people are probably booing Maguire because they don't rate him. I don't agree with it, but Rashford trying to get it into Sancho there. Oh, it's Bruno, sorry. I mean, I don't think you can boo him because he's... Well, maybe people... I'll tell you what, maybe people wanted Eric Bailly to play, to be fair. Because Eric Bailly played so well in pre-season. Maybe they wanted him to play. There's Palace on the attack. Plenty of numbers back for United. Lovely play. Goes for a corner. Lindelof got done there. I think Maguire put the block in. Welcome to Members Club Super Duper. Yeah, check out, if you remember now, check out the video, mate. You'll see my team. Fantasy Premier League. Yeah, good block by Maguire there. I'll tell you what, Delo's very vocal as well. I don't know whether everyone's noticed that. Delo's very high-fivey. I mean, I don't actually like it, to be honest, but it does show he's vocal, which is good. So Delo, virtually every block so far, every save, he goes over to the player and starts giving him a high five and that. I mean, I think it's a bit over the top, but it does show that he's a bit of a leader in the team, and that's good to see. Delo is hurt, I think, says Jack. Palace still on the attack, Jack. Let me just see what happens here. Cross comes in. It's not a bad cross. Delo heads it away on the back post. Good to see. Palace having a bit of an attack here. Got plenty in the box. Cross comes in. Lindelof gets it away. Jose says Maguire's impressing him. Well, what's he done, mate? What have him and Lindelof actually done? I mean, they've not done anything wrong, but I don't know what you would find impressive. Like, and I'm not being like, don't be impressed, but I don't know. We've not really defended much. There's the goal again. Lovely play by Delo. What a cross. It's such a good cross by Delo. It's so good when they show it from behind. Jason says Maguire's having a good game. I mean, I think your standards are on the floor, Jason. I really do. I mean, he's doing okay. Lindelof's doing okay, but they're not playing good. Like, I think some players start getting man of the match awards because they don't make a mistake. Like, good interception by Maguire there into Bruno. McTominay into Delo. Back to McTominay. Slowed down now. Yeah, that's crap. Now we're back on the halfway line now. I don't think Ten Hag's going to like that. We're on the attack and then we're back on the fucking halfway line. Come on. There was a forward pass there. That's better. Back up forward again. Here's Sancho, Rashford, Sancho. Back to Fred. Forward pass, Fred. Forward pass. Back on the halfway line. Maguire's brothers sending random super chats, says RM. He's done okay in this game. Him and Lindelof have been okay. They've not been exploited so far. So I wouldn't give them man of the match, but I certainly... Martin, you're definitely Maguire's brother. Maguire is literally starting all United's attacks. Bloody hell, Martin. You're bordering on getting blocked here. Magaluf and McFred, I can't believe it, says Jack. I'm expecting Ronaldo will probably not play the first Premier League match. What if Martial finds form and Ronaldo decides to stay after all? What will we do then? Well, Ronaldo's way better than Martial, so Ronaldo will start, won't he? It's like saying, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example here, but look, Ronaldo will play if he comes back. Half an hour gone. United in the lead, 1-0, thanks to a Martial goal. Superb play by Diego Delo. Absolutely brilliant. The control, a bit of movement to create the space. The cross with the left foot was brilliant. When you see it from behind, it's absolutely brilliant. Nice little ball in behind to Rashford. Just not quite there with the pass. And Martial's just gone down here. Malacia is playing good. Yeah, I tell you what, this is why I feel bad for Zidane Iqbal and Eric Bailly, because when you play in the second half team, it's very different. It's very different to getting to play in the first team. And Malacia, I think in the 2 games we've seen him so far in the second half team, looked okay. But in the first team, he looks really good. And I think, I understand why Ten Hag's doing it because he's probably thinking about the game against Brighton. But it would have been nice to see Eric Bailly rewarded with a centre-back starting position because I think he would play even better. I think Iqbal's probably deserves a start as well. No way Ronaldo should start over Tony. As we have said, you have got to earn your spot this year, and Tony has. Malacia and Delo should defo start. Fred looks good, says David. Malacia and Ten Hag having a bit of a chat here. Hey, you know what? I can write the headlines for you now because I know there's a lot of people out there that just don't like Luke Shaw, so they'll just do it because they're an agenda. But even if you do like Luke Shaw, I still think you never know. Malacia could be starting opening game of the season. You just don't know. I thought Luke Shaw would be the starting left back. I think that was logical, but Malacia might end up being the starting left back. I don't mind. I really don't mind. We need that competition for places. It's a shame that we've got it at left back because I'd much rather we had it in midfield, but you've got to start somewhere, haven't you? Tellez is gone. Yeah, Tellez is gone. Please do subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. Let's just see what happens here. Palace got it back. Lots of hard work going in from United as well. I've got to say the pressing has been really good. It's been very hard for Palace to create things and really get at us, although Delo is a bit out of position here. He's done well. And that'll go for a goal kick. I'd like to see the CM pairing swapped over Savage and Iqbal in here, McFred in second half, because McFred should run the show in the second team, says Seb Watson. Ebiowe is class. I probably completely pronounced his name wrong, but he has looked impressive for Palace. How good is this Palace team? I think it's predominantly, there are some first teamers there, but they are missing a lot of they're missing a lot as well, aren't they? Could Maguire improve with Martinez beside him, says Gurr. I think Maguire will improve playing right-sided centre-back, to be honest. I never understood why he was left-sided centre-back in the first place, because it's easier for him and his body to play off the right-hand side anyway. Maybe he prefers playing off the left, but as a right-footed player, you're always going to play better right-sided. Interesting ball by Rashford. Good switch of the plate. Gets it to Sancho. Tomley on the wing. Good play. Delo. Sancho, cut back. Delo. Oh, I nearly thought he was going to find Bruno there. That was good build-up play by United. Good play. Welcome to the Members Club, Callum. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate that. Malacia does well. I think Malacia really does understand this inverted fullback position, and he's so fast. It's going to be a really good competition for place at left back. Bruno, Palace come away with it. And there's that lack of pace. It's all right, though, because they're out on the wing. That's one ball over the top, and they were in there. But United have managed to get it away. Now United on the break. Bruno to Rashford. Got a bit of space. Fuck off. You know what he's done. Bit of space and he shoots. Why is he not playing the pass there? He's got to learn that. He's got to learn that. That was a blast from the past. Hi, Mark. How are we playing? Do we have hope? Says SD. I think we do have hope. We have to have hope. That's all it's all about. I mean, if he scores that, everyone's going, Rashford's amazing. But I still think that's a problem with him. I don't think that's a shooting position. That's a position to rotate the possession. And I don't think Ten Hag will be happy with that. You can see that already the fullbacks are being more attacking, shows how much we need a new right back, although Delo is doing well, says Michael T. Well, Delo won't be able to play every single game, will he? So that would be my issue. I think that Delo has to have some competition like we've got at left back now. Look how high Lindelof and Maguire are here. Fred, Bruno, Fred. Oh, it's a bad pass, but Rashford will keep it in. What a cross by Rashford. Really unlucky. It could have been Martial for number 2. Good cross by Rashford there. I think I think Rashford should have shot from there, says Ryan. I don't. But this is a great cross by Rashford. Actually, keeper makes a bit of a mess of it. I don't think Martial's ever getting that. Mark, what's your thoughts on Belotti on a free? None, Hacker. No. Prediction on United's player of the season next year. It says United all the way. Good cross by Rashford. Just a little bit too much dip on it. A bit too much pace, but good that he put the cross in. I can't predict next season's man of the match, player of the year. It could be Martinez, it could be Eriksen, it could be Ronaldo. They're not playing at the moment. It could be De Jong. I'd like to think that people like Bruno and Sancho will be in the running, though. Despite lack of pace at centre-back, I think the positioning and spacing of the back four have improved over the last year, says Sean Finity. Corner to United. Could Maguire silence the boos? Could he silence the boos with a corner? Well, he's not going to take the corner. He might score from it. Well, we'll talk about it at half time. I don't think we defended badly, but I just don't think Palace have really got the quality to hurt us at the moment. Seeing improvement today for sure, like Martial, says Stu. Fred's been class. The press is still very much a thing, Reese, yes. See what happens with this corner. Malacia, Delo. Still got it. Maguire as well. Back to, I think Malacia took the corner, didn't he? Sancho. Good play. Cross comes in. And Palace clear it away. As far as McTominay. Back again. Malacia with the cross. Headed away. 5 minutes to go to half time. I'd love to see the stats. Yeah, 66%, 4 shots. They've had more shots than us. I'm quite surprised about that. Let's just see what happens with this attack, and I'll go back to these stats. What games after Villa? We come back from the tour, and then we play Atletico Madrid, and I think it's Rayo Vallecano. But with 2 different teams because we're playing Saturday, Sunday. So look at the stats. 66% possession for United, which is good. 4 shots to 6 is quite surprising. I would like to have seen us add more shots than that. I think we should have had created more chances, to be fair. But the passing's good. Total passes more than double them, nearly. And 90% passing accuracy as well. So good passing, good possession, good passing accuracy. You'd probably expect a few more shots, though. You can see the difference in quality and intelligence between Rashford and Sancho. Rashford got to improve massively to stay in Ten Hag's plans, says Sean Wilson. I'm not reading Harry Maguire troll super chats. It's very obvious that people are trolling. Maguire's just had a shot just over the bar. Imagine if he'd scored that. Would have been an assist for Martial as well. Good ball. Quite well wide. Assuming Ronaldo stays, how will his pre-season look like considering he's missing pre-season, says Mortal? I'm not going to accept. I don't know, mate. I don't know with Ronaldo. I don't know what's happening with Ronaldo. I'm I don't know. I just think if you say, yeah, Ronaldo's definitely going to be part of the future, you might end up looking stupid. Ansel says, I'm not going to accept that we have a player who has won everything on 340k a week who's going to sit on the bench for Maguire just because of 80 million, says Ansel. Four minutes to go to half time. Only 1-0. I think Ten Hag will be very happy, but remember, it is Palace's B team effectively, and this is mainly going to be our team that plays against Brighton. So you'd probably want a bit more chance creation, to be fair. How long do you think we should give Ten Hag before we can judge him, says Clinton? I don't think you need to put time limits on these things. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going into it with the mindset that he's going to be a success. And therefore, I'm not thinking about how long I'm going to judge him. I hope Ronaldo is noting the crosses going in, says Wayne List. I mean, Ronaldo might not even be bloody watching it, let's be honest. So we're not expecting a load of changes at half-time. Ten Hag said before the game that he's looking to give some of these players an hour, which is what you would expect by the third game, actually. Please do subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. Another corner for Manchester United here. Ryan Duffy says there's a lack of control in the centre today. Creativity on the sides is masking it today, but issue will be exposed against the half-decent side, says Ryan. I've took a few notes, Ryan. I do want to talk about that at half-time. So we'll just see what happens with this corner, and we'll talk about it at half-time, because I think it's been a good half from United. But I think if you've watched the game like a lot of you have, there are things to pick up. A lot of Ronaldo's goals last seasons were moments. Imagine how many goals he'd get with Ten Hag's style of play, says Shane. Malacia taking corners. Keeper punches it away. Comes back. Fred shoots over the bar. Michael says Bruno's been bad. I think Bruno has been subdued. Daniel Hodgson, I love hearing Ten Hag yell press to everyone, says Daniel. Bruno simplified his game. Has he simplified his game too much? You know, is Bruno going to get goals and assists by simplifying his game so much? Good ball by McTominay. Here's Rashford. Oh, not unlucky. No, it wasn't Rashford. It was Sancho. Good pace by Sancho. That's why I thought it was Rashford. I'd consider bringing Donny on at half-time. I mean, Bruno's been a bit quiet. Maybe give Donny 15 minutes with the better side. Lovely flick by Martial. And, God, this keeper's shit. Why still no player exit? No one wants him, says David. It's hard to sell players when you're on tour. I do think that from next week, we might start to see things. Bruno's playing it safe, says Hamad. Yeah, I think that's something I want to talk about at half-time. There's a few good things. Sancho's really enjoying himself in this system, though, isn't he? Malacia looks great. Hope Aaron Wan-Bissaka goes home with Palace. Thanks for the super chat there. Malacia looks really good and only cost a fifth of what Wan-Bissaka costs, says Go. People saying Donny has played bad at number 10 in previous 2 games, yet both Donny and Bruno have played poorly, and that's due to no quick ball from the midfield, says Salah. Yeah, I think a lot of our chance creation comes from the is coming from the width, isn't it? The pace of the game is quite slow from United, says Charles. I just don't think we're utilising Bruno much. I think Bruno's just... Here he is, Bruno. Here he is. Here he is. What can he do? He's offside. Mark Rashi's ghosting a bit. But I think Rashford's done more than Bruno. I think Bruno's struggling in this team today to get involved. Noticing much more switches of the ball. The players aren't doing them very well, explains signing of Martinez and Eriksen as they're great at it, says AG. And with our other midfielders getting so high and us playing a 3-2-3-5 in attack, Bruno needs to get used to occupying different spaces. I think that's the nail on the head, Brian. I think it's about getting used to the way that this team's going to work, because Bruno's just not picking up the ball in the areas that he would normally expect to pick the ball up. Ayew's gone down injured again here. Thanks everyone for watching. We're nearly at 391,000. We're only 100 away. Please subscribe. Just click the button in the bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with the United Stand. We'll be doing player ratings after the game on My Match Reaction. Also, we've got our 8 o'clock show as per usual tonight. So make sure you subscribe. Get involved with the community. Imagine this team with De Jong in it. We would progress up the pitch so much faster, says Nick. Yeah. Also, the centre-backs. You wouldn't be worried about that ball over the top as much. Malacia is playing very well, OJ. Very well. Look, I'm a fan of Luke Shaw. I like Luke Shaw. I think he's going to be a valuable player for us. But, you know, Malacia, for me, has had a good half. I can't deny it. He's very tenacious. He's very quick. He's been taking the corners as well, which is something Luke Shaw can do. But, yeah, he's had a good half. Him and Delo have had very good halves. Sancho's been good. Bruno, Rashford been a bit quiet. Martial's been good. Fred's been reasonable. McTominay's been okay. Lindelof and Maguire have been okay. De Gea's not really had anything to do. We've not really seen De Gea have to sweeper keep much as well. I was giving a foul on McTominay here. He's added quite a lot of added time on here. He's added 3 minutes. I don't know what he thinks he's doing, this referee. I don't know where he's got 3 minutes from. Oh, no, keeper injury. Mark, can you shout out to my brother, Bab, says Maverick. There you go. Tommy wrestled to the floor there. Ref's enjoying the game, says Michael. Yeah, injury to goalkeeper, wasn't it, Arthur? Thank you. Oh, God. Have a stretch. Well, Rashford's thinking about having a shot from here. Well, I'll talk about the game in a minute. We've got a free kick here. I don't know whether Bruno's going to hit it or Rashford's going to hit it. Straight at the keeper. I mean, for shooting from 40 yards. Right, it's half time now. It's 1-0 to Manchester United. I do think it's been good in summary. I think it's been good, but I do think as well there are some really interesting areas to delve into where I think a better side would cause us more problems, because I almost feel sympathetic to Palace that half their team isn't even there. And it'd be interesting to see how it impacts Palace's start to the season. Could be beneficial, who knows? But they've really not been able to exploit our major weakness, which is to play through the press and hit us on the break with pace. They've not been able to do it. And I think part of that's to do with Malacia and Delo. They've been really good at getting forward and very quick at getting back to support Maguire and Lindelof, and their obvious weakness of a lack of pace. And therefore, that's led to Lindelof and Maguire being quite comfortable, and they've actually been able to get on the ball and start the attack. So I think Maguire and Lindelof have actually done reasonably well. I'd probably give them, I don't think they've done anything wrong. I think Delo and Malacia are arguably the two best players on the pitch. Malacia switched it to Delo, brilliant bit of skill to put the cross in, great goal by Martial. But more than that, I think they've been really, really strong advocates of what Ten Hag wants to do. This inverted fullback is probably quite an unusual thing for some United fans and Premier League fans to get used to, but it's a very big defining thing of the way Ajax played. yes, you do overlap and put crosses in, but you also invert and support the midfield as well. So at times they've been really, really, really high up the pitch, and it's good to see. Hence, we'll go through the possession stats in a minute. But I think so. Yeah, Malacia and Delay have been very, very good. I do think that we'd be better off with Zidane and Savage, says Isaac. I mean, I don't know about that. Donny will never show himself his best when he's only plays with the B team, says Whackim. So what I would like to see as we move through the midfield, I mean, I think Fred suits this style of football more than anything we've played in the last 3 years. It's quicker, but did Fred and McTominay grab hold of that midfield? We'll come back to that. Lee Mahoon says, how good is Sancho looking? I think Sancho's made for this system. Lots of balls. What do you think of Bayern's window so far? Says no doubt. It's very good. I think recruitment of Mane and Gravenberch and De Ligt is very good, to be fair. But we've got hold of that ball. I think the midfield could do better. And I'm thinking, like a lot of people are thinking, if we did have a De Jong and an Eriksen in that midfield, I don't know whether you could play them both together, but if you put one of them in that midfield, but basically, I think if you put De Jong with Fred, that midfield works a lot better. If you put, Eriksen with McTominay, that midfield works a lot better. McTominay and Fred, I don't think we're going to see it. I hope we're not going to see it. And it just allows teams to have a chance. And I don't think we dominated that midfield. I think we did reasonably well, but I think we need to improve in the midfield. And I think that, Ten Hag knows that himself. I think Martial Bruno, very quiet. I think Bruno's an interesting one, and I look forward to seeing what he does in the second half. But I would swap him for Bruno. I would swap him for Bruno. Yeah, get Bruno on. Where is he? I would swap him for Donny. I think Donny in that team would actually work well. I think if Donny started this game and he was anywhere near confident, he would have had a better half than Bruno, because I think Bruno's struggling to adjust to a team that's got its midfield virtually on the edge of the box, and then it's got Martial, and it's got inverted fullbacks, and it's got wingers tucking in as well. Bruno's last season, he knows where the space is. He's probably got 20 meters of space around him because we sit deep and we hit on the break. He's now having to find spaces to get in on the game. He's obviously wary of Hollywood passes and shooting from distance. So every time he gets it, he's trying to pass it. And I think Bruno's struggling with an identity crisis today. I wouldn't say it's an identity crisis in general, because he might be talented enough to figure it out. But today, he's definitely struggling to get in the game. And then when he does get the ball, he's keeping it simple. And that's not what Bruno's about, is he? Bruno's about goals, assists, making things happen. And he's just struggling to get in the game today, which is why I'd like to see Donny play, because I think in that sort of a game, this is where Donny becomes very good at finding spaces and linking the play up. So I'd like to see Donny on, but I don't think he'll do that. Rashford's nowhere near having the game that Sancho is. I still think Rashford, that free kick at the end of the half, why he's shooting from 40 yards. But the cross was good. He's been a bit quiet, Rashford, to be fair, but he's not been bad. Sancho, this setup is just heaven sent for Sancho. Like, it just suits Sancho. It's like being back at Dortmund. He's lots of possession, lots of the ball, lots of interchanging. Yeah, Sancho just suits this system. And Martial does, to be fair, as well. He's getting chances. He's getting involved in the link-up play, little flicks. So, yeah, I think all in all, it's been decent from United. What I would say is, Tropic says MUTV commentary have been hyping up Fred's chip against Liverpool way too much. Haven't seen you smile for a while, Mark, says Alistair. Well, I don't know. It's pre-season, isn't it? I mean, I'm not one of those fans that can forget last season. And I'm also very aware that I've seen United lose a lot in pre-season, then have a good season. I've seen United have a bad pre-season and, have a good pre-season, then not have a good season. It's pre-season. I'm not going to let things run away with me. I still am very concerned about the squad depth, to be honest with you. But there is a lot to smile about individually. I think Delot, I loved that. I loved that from Delot. Malacia, love it. Competition for places. Martial, look, he can only do what he's doing. Sancho's thriving. There are still question marks about the midfield. I don't think we've got the defence set up the way we want it to do. If I was nitpicking and being absolutely honest, I don't think we've got control of that midfield today, really. And I also think that Palace's best team. So we've got our best team out today, really. Obviously, Varane's not playing because he's injured. Alessandro Martinez and Eriksen are not there. And Ronaldo's not there. But the best team we can put out, we've got out. Palace haven't got their best team out there because a lot of players aren't even on the tour because they can't be on the tour. I think if we were playing even Arsenal today, that would be problematic. I think we've got to get more control in the midfield. And we've also got to be a lot careful. We're still vulnerable if a team plays through the press and they've got speed. Fortunately, we've stopped that. And I think the reason we've stopped that is Malasia's energy is unbelievable. It's not been such of a problem down the left-hand side because I don't think Palace are particularly strong down the left-hand side, but their right-hand side, they're quite strong today. And obviously Lindelof is a vulnerable player, as we saw against Melbourne Victory. But Malacia has been close to Lindelof so many times. And then in a blink of an eye, he's up close to Rashford on the attack. His energy. And look, Luke Shaw's got good energy. I've always said that. But Malacia's energy in this game has meant that Lindelof's not been exposed and Rashford's had loads of support. So we're still going to be a work in progress. I expected us to win this game simply because we've got a stronger team out than Palace. But let's not forget as well, because Palace, if there are any fans watching, Palace will say, well, I'm very happy with what we're doing. It's a weakened team for us. You've got a strong team out. I'm very happy with what you're doing. I would say, well, that's not our fault. We're doing as best we can with what we've got. And it's still quite a strong United team, and there's still a lot of positivities there. But I still look at this United side and I go, well, that's not going to be the centre-back pairing, and that can't be the midfield pairing. And that's quite a big thing. That's over half of your spine missing. Now, I'm not saying that Fred and Maguire won't start. They probably will. But there's no way that Lindelof, Maguire, McTominay and Fred are part of our future. So I still think that my concern with that team is that I'm still very worried about the lack of pace at the back. But when Lisandro Martinez comes into that team, that's solved on the left-hand side. You've still got Varane an option on the right-hand side as well if you don't want to pick Maguire as well. And also, in relation to control in the midfield, well, if Eriksen or De Jong come into that midfield, you've got more control. Mark, I'm loving this Martial and his confidence. So far, Erik Ten Hag is showing he's what we're all waiting at Manchester United, which is someone who actually knows how to coach a team. We don't need no more distractions, says Amir. Derek, thank you very much for the super chat. Look, I'm very, very, very firmly excited with Erik Ten Hag. I got my words wrong there. I'm firmly behind Erik Ten Hag, and I'm very excited about Erik Ten Hag. But we have had so many false dawns in the past that I feel it's irresponsible for me to just sit here and say everything's going to be all right, because it's not. We're still really weak in the midfield. We've not got many options. We're still really weak on the wings. We've not got many options beyond Sancho and Rashford. And we're still really weak up front because we've only got Martial at the moment. So going into a whole season, I'm not confident because I don't think we've got the players we need at the moment. Also, I'm not going to run away on individual performances too much because what about pre-season Pirlo? What about Lingard? I've seen Lingard and Pereira be brilliant in pre-season and absolutely crap when it starts off. So I think the positives for me are progression. Positives for me are visible changes. What are we visibly seeing? And when I go to the possession stats now, do you think the results will give the team a false sense of security, says Derek? No, because I don't think Erik Ten Hag will allow that. I bought tickets to the game, but Jetstar cancelled my flight, says Kellum. Gutted. Keith, thank you very much for the super chat there. I don't think Ten Hag will allow them to get too carried away because there's a lot of work still to be done. And the real work starts in October. I mean, it starts in August, but the real work starts in when the hype of a new manager is gone and the reality of the team that you've got is a reality, and you've got to start grinding results out week in, week out. But we need to keep this buzz going for as long as possible. So let's have a look at the possession stats, because this is big for Erik Ten Hag. So we're 66% possession. He'll be happy with that. He'll want 70, but he'll be happy with that. 66%, he'll be happy with that. We'll go to passes next. 296 to 165. He'll be very happy with that. It's almost double again. Really happy with that. That's control of the game. If you're passing the ball nearly double what Palace are passing the ball, you've got control of the game. And he'll be very happy with the passing accuracy as well. 89% for us means we've got good control of the ball when we've got it. 77% for Palace means that they're not. When they're passing, they're hurried. They're being pressed. They're not confident on the ball. So we've got total control of the ball and the possession. So that is a big, big thumbs up for an Erik Ten Hag system. So you can't argue with that. Whatever you think of the half, whatever you think about the mismatch in the quality of the teams, we're playing way more passes and we're playing them way more accurately. Palace are not playing many passes compared to us, and they're not very accurate with them as well, which means we're putting pressure on their possession. So that's really good. Where he won't be so happy is the shots. That really, if I didn't know how many total shots either team had, and I was looking at the passes, the possession, and the accuracy, I would say we've probably had about 12 shots and they've had about 3. It's very surprising that it's 6 and 6 and 2 and 2 on target. We really have not been tested. Look, they've not had a good chance like Martial did. They've not had a good chance. But really, we've not really had a good chance like Martial did either. We've created 1 goal in that half, and you'd expect to score that goal. Every other chance we've had has been Fred from outside the box, Maguire's shot in the box. I mean, that would have been a good finish, but it was nowhere near really. Rashford shot well wide. I think he would want, with all that possession and all that passing accuracy, he's probably going to say at half-time, look, I'm very happy with that, but a lot of that is because you're passing it side to side and around the edge of the box. With that much possession and that much passing accuracy, I want to see over 10 shots. I want to see 4 or 5 on target. I want to see us winning 2-0, 3-0 from that. So that's where Erik ten Hag's obsession will come from. And that's why we're probably going to be taking a lot more focus on stats this season, because we've got a manager where you can read what he's all about. He wants high possession. He wants high passes. He wants high passing accuracy, and he wants high shots on goal. And sometimes it can be false, because you can go, look at how many passes we've played and look at the passing accuracy. But I look back to that half and I think, well, there was a lot of passes going side to side still. There was a lot of passes where we'd hit the final third and come back to McTominay, to go back to Maguire, to go forward to Fred, to go back to Malacia, to come back to Fred, to go back to Lindelof. There was a bit of that. And in those passes, you've just played 10 passes. Most of them are coming backwards. You're going to be accurate. So he will want a little bit more. And this is what people like De Jong and Eriksen and hopefully Bruno and Donny, if he gets a chance, bring. Taking those passes and making them, still keeping your possession accuracy up high, but creating more chances. We need to create more chances with that possession. Do you think the results have done that one as well? Hi, Mark. What should be our top 5 CDM targets for this summer? Love the show, says Johnny. There is no top 5, Johnny. There is no top 5. There is Frankie de Jong. There is de Jong, Frankie, and that's it. There's 2 players, and they're both the same player, really. There is no alternative. I don't think, from what I was hearing last night, that Erik ten Hag thinks that, and you won't like this, but I don't think Erik ten Hag thinks that Ruben Neves is worth the money and is a big enough step up from McTominay and Fred. Frankie de Jong, he says he's worth the money and he's massively a step up. He doesn't feel that for what we'll pay, there's enough of a step up on McTominay and Fred. So, I think it will be de Jong. I'm still 90% sure it'll be de Jong. And that's the player that we're looking at. Vicky, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for tuning in. Pushan says, Mark, the greatest commentator. Man United hire Pratt Bridge up before Sky takes him. At least one deal quickly. Loving this pre-season with the United stand, says Pushan. I'll tell you what I'm loving about Ten Hag, and I think a lot of people in the chat are loving it as well. I think so many times at half-time over the years when we've been doing watch-alongs, we spend it moaning about players that we just don't want to see playing and things like that. And it's so refreshing to spend 5 minutes looking at the stats there and delving into that. And I can tell you for one thing, we've got a lot more of this to come when the season kicks in as well. This is a manager that when you do your research on him, you know what he's all about and you know what he wants to do. And when it's like learning to play FIFA, isn't it? Once you know how to play it, you know what's pass and this, that, and the other, you can really analyze the game better. And I think with Ten Hag, we as a community are going to learn more as he goes on, but we already know the key principles of what he's doing. So that last 5 minutes where we're talking about possession and he will want more shots because, the accuracy is good, but a lot of it's easy accuracy. He will want 90% passing accuracy, but he'll want 10 shots, which means you've got to take more risks. Some people will look at the stats of some of those players today and go, wow, you can't moan about it. He's passed it this many times and his accuracy is this. But what if most of his passes have been sideways or an easy pass? Donny's on. Donny's on. Mackenzie Hill, thank you very much. Donny's on. Donny's on. Donny's on. Donny's on. Donny's on. Don. I don't know who he's on for, but yes, good. Get him on. Get it on. Well, Bruno's still on, so he's not on for Bruno. So hopefully he's coming on in the midfield too. Mason. He's on for Fred's still on, so McTominay maybe. McTominay's off. Donny's on and McTominay's off. Maybe he's injured. Well, this is exciting. Donny van der Beek on in the midfield, playing with Bruno in a midfield too. Could be because McTominay's injured, but you know what? It's still a positive. We get to see him in the midfield. What we've been waiting for, says Tyler. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. This is where the party starts. Come on then. Right, so it's the same team, but Donny comes on and gets 45 minutes. I hope that was pre-planned by Eric, to be honest. Do you think Maguire is a starter and a captain worthy, Mark, says Tropic? No, not even hating on Maguire. Varane's better than him, and Lisandro Martinez is left-footed. So for me, our best centre-back partnership is Varane and Lisandro Martinez. But I fully expect that Maguire will start. I'm not the manager. Let him pick it. So second half's about to start here. We've got Donny in the midfield. Suddenly I feel a lot better about that team. Donny's in the pivot, says Nick. Thank you very much. And just subscribed. Who on earth is Donnyson? He's a Nigerian midfielder, says Dance. Well, it's a shame Fred's still on. We could have had Donny's on and Dividendino in the midfield, but we've got Fred. No. So Donny's on. He's in the midfield. And that's the only change so far. We will see more changes in the second half. But to be fair, Ten Hag did say he was going to give them an hour. Start to build the fitness levels and time on pitch up. Ultimately, I think a lot of people were quite confused why we're playing. So we play Villa on Saturday, and then our next two games are Saturday, Sunday the following week, where we play Atletico Madrid and Rayo Vallecano. And a lot of people, one of those games is at Old Trafford and one of them is at Oslo. And a lot of people are like, well, why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's very intelligent what he's doing, actually, because he's going to give two teams 90 minutes. So, you know, Lindelof will probably play with Varane in one game, and then maybe Lisandro Martinez will play with Maguire in another game. So it's a clever idea, really. Lack, welcome to the members club. And Alex has been a member for 5 months. He says, please get your glasses on. You got more players wrong in the first half than some Twitter outlets, says Alex. It's nothing to do with that, mate. It's to do with the screen and how far away the camera is. McSauce was well below average first half. I really hope Donny takes his chance, says Oliver Hunt. And seeing McTominay go off and Van der Beek come on is the best thing I've seen so far this pre-season, says Jim. It's the moments, isn't it? Well, look, we all want Donny to do well. He gave us an interview after the last game and he looked so lost. Let's hope he can deliver, because it wasn't nice seeing him in that interview. Jim says, seeing McTominay go off. Yeah, I've done that one from Jim. Please do subscribe, by the way. We're really close to 391,000. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Don't forget to check out Wash and Go as well. You can use the camera to scan the QR code. Really good price, delivered to your door. Wash and Go, shampoo and conditioner. I use it every day. Fantastic little product. Sponsoring our pre-season tour as Man United look to wash and go. They look to wash out all the dirt and start again. Let's see if we can do it. Do you think McTominay is off due to passing backwards and sideways, says Les? I think it was probably part of his plan, no matter what. Is the Madrid game a testimonial for De Gea, says Robbo? Don't think so. You might be onto something, but I don't think it is. Only 10 subscribers away from 391,000 on the road to 400k. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Fred's hair is defying physics, says Soham, and the Don turns me on, says AM. Okay. Here we go. This referee needs to start this second half. I'm starving. That's the trouble with these 11 o'clock starts. It straddles lunch. Sancho is cam. Anthony right wing, says Sahil. I don't think we need to put Sancho as a cam. We've got 3. Mark, would you ever give us... Here we go. We're off. Mark, would you ever give us a tour of your streaming setup at home, says Scholl. I will. That's fine. No problem. I have to tidy up a bit. Thoughts on Malacia, says Damien. Spoke about him in half-time. Very, very impressed with him. I mean, look, everyone knows I like Luke Shaw, but that doesn't mean... I refuse to get involved in this sort of thing where you're either team Luke Shaw or you're team Malacia. I'm team Manchester United, and we're going to play a lot of games next season. There will be injuries. There'll be loss of form. There'll be Thursday, Sunday games. I like the idea of 2 players that I like competing for the position. And That's what I want to see. So I'm looking forward to it. Right, let's see if United can get hold of the ball. Odds on Ronaldo plays for Atleti against us, says Rui. They don't want him. They can't afford him. We'll be in a title race, says Colin. Mate, if he can get us into a title race, build a statue. Here's Donny getting on the ball, though. Tell you what I like about Donny as well. He's always very, very vocal. Oh, that's a crap ball by Maguire. Don't be hitting those balls. Diagonals in the air. Come on. Hospital ball by Maguire. It's going to take him time to come out of the Solskjaer headset, though, isn't it? Wise words. Like your thoughts on this, as Damien. Thank you. That's what we want, though. We want a squad of 20 players that we all like, that we don't care if one of them's on the bench because they'll play the next game or they'll come on for half an hour. For too long, we've had too many bad players that it forces you to have your favourites. And then when you have your favourites, you get angry when they don't play and you get angry with people who underperform. We need a system of players that we're engaged with all of them. Good pressing there by Delo. Look how high up the pitch he is again. Are there some players in this team you don't like, Mark? Yeah, there's quite a few players in this team I don't like because I think they've got a lot to do to be liked again. They've got a lot of work to do to get liked again. But that's their responsibility. It's not my responsibility as a fan to start liking them when they haven't earned it. I mean, if you're Malacia, you know, there's no bad experience. It's just positivity, isn't it? Go out there, express yourself. Same with Iqbal, same with Savage, same with De Gea, same with Ronaldo, same with Sancho. These are players that I don't necessarily, you know, have a bad opinion of, but a lot of these players need to work hard to win it back. Happy Donny replaces Scott. I think Maguire as captain will be similar to Ashley Young under Ollie, only the captain when he plays, but it won't always play, says Trading with Kieran. Nice ball over the top here. This should be a goal. This should be a goal here. Martial, we've got move. Sancho, Martial, Donny, Rashford. What a goal! What a goal! Lovely goal. Yes, just brilliant. Brilliant interchanging between the front four. And Rashford ends up with a tap in. Donny with an assist. But it's the interchange. I'm not typing anything yet. I just want to watch this back again. The goal's fantastic. Starts off with Martial. Lovely takedown. Gets it to Sancho. Holds it up. Flicks it into Martial. Back to Donny. Cross comes in. And Rashford taps it in. That was a great goal. I mean, I would have scored the goal. I mean, it's not the goal that's the big thing. Fair play to Rashford, but it's Martial, Sancho, Donny. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What a goal. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. 2-0. Well, it's an assist for Donny as well, isn't it? It's an assist for Donny as well. But it's just intelligent movement. And remember, he's playing centre mid as well. He's playing in the McTominay role. I mean, effectively, would McTominay have done that in the first half? Maybe he would, but it's not. I'm not talking about it like that. I'm just saying, you know, this system, your fullbacks are really far forward. This system, your midfielders have got to break. Good play by Donny here. Look at the win in the back and the forward pass. Tell you what I liked about Donny there. He's running away from the goal, approaching the halfway line in a 50-50 with Ayew. He holds him off and passes it forward. Whereas I think McTominay or Fred in that situation would hold him off and go back to Maguire. That forward pass thing is really important. And I don't know whether we're accustomed to it yet, but every time we pass backwards, it's not what Ten Hag wants. He wants the forward pass. He always wants the forward pass. Of course, it's not always possible, but he does want it. Bad pass by Donny a minute ago there. That's why I went quiet. But I did say 4-0. Let's see. I mean, obviously, we're going to make changes in about 10 minutes. But nice ball into the low. Give him a forward pass. That's it, Fred. Good. Go forward. Don't go backwards. The low. Nice ball into Sancho. Lovely takedown. To Fred. See, that's the wrong pass by Fred to go back to Lindelof there. It slows the whole attack down now. That's it. Forward, forward. Here's Rashford. Give him a pass. Into Martial. Good. I don't know why Bruno didn't hit that. I think he had the shout from Donny behind him. Doesn't look particularly happy, Bruno, there. Let's watch this back. Rashford slips it nicely into Martial. The cutback's on. I think, yeah, Bruno gets the shout from Donny and yeah, it's on his left foot. Corner, though. Here it is. As he says he's enjoying the show. Thank you. Headed away. Got to get better at corners, especially when you got, if you're going to pick Harry Maguire, you've got to get better at corners. Alicia. Palace have just not been able to do anything, have they, really? Well done, Delo. Well done, Delo. This is torture, Mark. They're not showing the game in South Africa. Makes me appreciate this show even more. Thank you for the great content, says Bradley. Thanks, pal. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Palace are on the attack now. It's going to shoot. Good block by Lindelof that time. They've got their blocks in tonight. Maguire and Lindelof. I'll give them that. They've got some blocks in. Tara says, where are the Rashi haters now? I mean, look, Tara, I've always liked Rashford and I believe there's a player in there, but I don't think you can really start saying he's sat his haters down by scoring a tap in. He's going to have to do a lot more than that. But look, it's all good for confidence, isn't it? Delo on the right-hand side again. I mean, Donny's really supporting the attack a lot in this system. At times, Bruno's deeper than Donny. Bruno's come alive now, says Govind. Oh, Maguire keeps hitting this pass. He keeps hitting this pass to Rashford. It's twice now. Good interception there by... Oh, no, it's not. It's still got it. Delo. Here we go. Bruno, shoot. Oh, Bruno. Bruno. What a sitter. Lovely ball by Delo. Bruno's made a good run. Bounces up for him. Side of the box, just outside the 6-yard box to the right. Hits it over the bar. Do we ever see Donny and Bruno together? Bruno, De Jong and Donny would be a strong midfield, says David. Maguire will lift the Premier League this season, says Colin Walker. Is he going on the Etihad Stadium tour? We're not winning it. We're not winning the Premier League this year. Well in by Lindelof. Yeah, Palace just haven't been able to exploit us, They've not been able to. I think the work rate of... oh, God. It's gone for a foul with us. The work rate of Malacia and Delo to get back and help the centre-backs has really left them not get exploited. I'm loving Delo. He's actually class playing as a wing-back. Yep, he has. I think Delo man of the match shout so far. Thanks everyone who's been tuning in. I'm really looking forward to the game on Saturday because, as I say, it's not Palace's fault. They are quite weakened out on this tour. I don't know how many players they've left behind, but I think it's up to 4 or 5 first teamers not there with them. So when you're a team like Crystal Palace and you're missing 4 or 5 players, it's gonna hurt you a little bit. And you know, United, even though we haven't bought any players yet, we can still take a massive squad on tour. And here we go, Bruno, cut back, Sancho should have hit it first time, blocked. Should have hit it first time. We've seen Bruno and Donny together 6 times since signing him. They've always been brilliant together, says Gabriel Noel. Here's Malacia again. Hold your horses. Oh, Sancho should shoot more. Now it's with Bruno. The Alien says, I would like to see this kind of football against Premiership teams. Sounds exciting. Something that hasn't been for a long time. Donny's role reminds me a lot of when Gundogan does for City. No reason why he can't do it in possession-based teams, says Sharath Kamath Fitness. Thanks for that. Oh, it's all going off a little bit here. For a friendly game, this is anything but friendly, says David. Don't really understand what's going on here. Wasn't looking. What game is it on Saturday, Mark? Villa. They will be stronger as well, Villa. They've got a good squad. So AU, oh yeah, AU stamped on Bruno's foot. And then Donny got took out as well. Fred seems uncomfortable conducting midfielder. Is there hope Eric Ten Hag can help him break his bad habits? To Stephen Rossi. AU got booked. And then Fred started having a pushing match with AU. You know what? I get less impressed with those sort of things now as I get older. I mean, I used to love Roy Keane and Beckham and everybody getting in these scraps, but really, I just want to be a good football team first. I can't get behind players just because you push people. McTominay does this a lot. Like, perform on the pitch, and then I'll get behind you when you get into little scraps. But I don't want them to be the season highlights, if you know what I mean. I think at times we champion players just because they're a bit passionate, and I actually just want to, and I'm sure Ten Hag's the same. I'm sure he's got no interest in people pushing and shoving each other. Let's just play good football. Mark, incoming Maguire cupping his ears celebration if he scores, posting videos on his social media of long passes and personal stats from the game, says Jack. Good save by De Gea. Chance for Mateta. Didn't really see why that chance occurred, but we'll watch it back now. I think it might have been Lindelof. Oh, they're not going to show it, are they? It's a shame. I think a world-class manager like Ten Hag puts the pressure on the board because it's one less person they can put the blame on. Ollie saved them because... There we go. Here we go. Yes! Lovely finish. Lovely finish. Sancho. Martial. This is quality football by Manchester United. Palace had a chance. United have taken theirs. It's 3-0. It's almost liquid football, and it's the link-up play that makes it. Watch this back right on the hour as well. We're going to see a load of changes now, but United have delivered the performance I thought they would against this Palace side. I said 3 or 4-0, and it comes into Rashford. Nice turn by Rashford into Martial. Lovely ball again, and Sancho. Nice link-up between the front three, and it's a lovely goal as well. Again, you can't argue with it. Sancho this time gets the goal he deserves. What a team goal again. Lovely stuff. 3-0. Lovely finish by Sancho as well. Alassir has been playing well, says Peter. And also, AU was only mad because his hairline is in relegation battle, says AM. Well, Martial's had a massive part in all 3 goals. He scored one himself. He had a second assist in the first one, and he's had a first assist in that one. A second assist is the pass before the assist, by the way. He passed it to Donny, didn't he? Now Martial's cooking, says Noah. I have to be careful with the chat and what I read. There's a lot of positivity and happiness in the chat, which is good to see. But it is pre-season. I'm not talking about definite top four and this, that, and the other. We've got no midfield. We've got no backup up front. We've got no backup on the wings. We've got to go and play 38 games to get top four. And, you know, half of those games are away from home as well. It's too early. It's too early. But there's positives. I mean, one of the big positives for me is De Gea. We've not really seen De Gea under any pressure. Dan Harding, Tony, man of the match by far. Yeah, he's probably has took man of the match now. Here's Delo again. I mean, but, you know, you say that. I think Delo's been really good. Here's Bruno into Rashford. He's going to overrun it. Ron says, Mark, be positive. Mate, I am positive. I'm really enjoying the football, but I see these people on other outlets, you know, grinning from ear to ear, hyping up something, talking about things they don't really understand. And it's pre-season, and it's really good to watch a United side play some good football and score some good goals. But I think that confidence before a fall comes to mind. We've just got to take it game to game, acknowledge the performances. I think Sancho's been brilliant. Martial's been brilliant. Rashford's a lot better today. Malacia, Delo, very, very good. But it is a weakened Palace side, and it's a very, very confident United side who is becoming more and more confident in the way that they're playing. We need to add some quality to this squad, definitely. That needs to happen ASAP. And I suppose, if I'm absolutely honest, people say, why aren't you cheering and smiling and everything like that? Because I'm probably a little bit frustrated, actually, if I'm being honest. And I will be honest, because I see this progression and I don't see the backing from the board. Like, where's the midfielder? Where's the attacker? Like, if this man can get this team playing better, which he has, why is there this obsession from United to do it on the cheap and get the best out of what we've got when we're clearly crying out for players? There's not enough depth in the attack. There's not enough depth in the midfield. You know, as Rashford's hobbling there, I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine. But what if he's hobbling after Brighton and he's out for a month? Like, you know, Rashford's had a few injuries recently. I just want to see the board exciting me as much as Ten Hag is at the moment, because there is reason to be encouraged. The football was always going to be better than it was under Solskjaer, and Ten Hag's principles have to be followed. Offside, but I suppose what I'm really saying is that there's absolutely no way I think this team's going to get top four as well as it's played in pre-season. I just can't see it unless we go and buy De Jong and another good player. And that's what I want to see over the next few weeks. And then we take it into the new season. We see how we do in genuine competitive games. And then if we're still doing well, it's time to get excited. Seeing this team play like this makes me even more angry about their performance last season, says Stephen. Finally watching live from MCG, hoping to catch Adam after the game, says Chid. Who needs Ronaldo, says Red Devil. Well, you know, that's just positivity hype, isn't it? Of course we need Ronaldo. We need De Jong. I thought McTominay was coming back on again then. I thought he'd slipped himself back on. It's Fish. So loads of subs happening now. Probably most of the team now. Iqbal's on. Savage is on. Donny will go to 10. I think Wan-Bissaka's on. Bay's on. Mabry's on. Ahmad's on. Wan-Bissaka is on. Palace are making a lot of subs as well. So 25 minutes. I don't think Garnacho's on. So Luke Shaw hasn't come on. I wonder if he's carrying a bit of an injury then. Fish is on. No Bailly. No Bailly. Top 3 cutting through teams like butter so far in pre-season. Have faith these players will come good, says Shane. Good, thank you. Consistency, that's the key for this, lad, says Julian. I'm just trying to sort of figure out the team here. So Ahmad's on the right. Figure this one out. We've got to be real here with our transfers so far. I can't see us finishing above City, Liverpool, Chelsea or Spurs, says Bradley. So we've got Iqbal and Savage on, definitely. Donny's gone to 10. It's Fish, Wan-Bissaka, Tellez, and still Malacia, I think, at left back. Amal on the right. Mabry through the middle, I think. And I think Rashford stayed on, hasn't he? Yeah, Rashford has stayed on. Palace have made a load of changes. Got no idea. No Garnacho, no Eric Bay, no Luke Shaw. Maybe Eric Bay's carrying an injury. In Van Gaal's first pre-season, we beat Real and Liverpool and then lost to Swansea in the first game, says Kevin. I can read it out. Do you want me to read it out? So it's De Gea's still in goal. Wan-Bissaka's at right back. Fish and Tellez at centre back. And Malacia is still at left back. Savage, Iqbal and Donny as the midfield 3. And then Ahmad, Mabry and Rashford. And Ahmad's down injured at the moment. Happy you are winning gives a false sense of confidence when you face us, to say Miyasi. Nah, look, I think, look, United fans, we've been deprived of anything positive for so long. That last season was an absolute shambles. And, you know, to get a bit of positivity in pre-season with a new manager is great. And we will play better football next season because the manager wants to play a different brand of football, which is more exciting. But I don't think there's a Man United fan out there that genuinely thinks we're going to battle for the title or genuinely thinks we'll comfortably get top 4. We don't know until we play proper football. And I think I'm genuinely looking forward to playing Villa on Saturday because they will put up a stronger team than David says it's about time that Donny got a chance in the midfield too. Villa will be able to put up a stronger team than Palace have. You know, that Kamara will play in the midfield. They've got McGinn. I think they've got everybody. So Saturday will be a better test for us. Alanga's on, not Rashford. Somebody said that Rashford had stayed on as captain. I sense something happening to Ten Hag that happens a lot, especially in the design industry. I mean, really talented people get the harder gig. I do worry the Glazers will give him minimal tools, says Nick P. They've got to give him Frenkie de Jong. They've got to give him Frenkie de Jong. De Gea is the captain, says Rashid. Yeah, it's definitely Alanga on. They've finally he's finally had the ball. Mark, what's happening with James Garner? He's only just back fit from injury AV. So, I mean, for Garner, he might not get 10 minutes. Even though it's pre-season, we can say this is not individuals FC anymore. Let's keep on going, says Jonathan. Thank you very much there. The shape to this team is the most positive I can take out pre-season. The runs, the track backs, the perfect line at the back just show what a good manager can do. Yeah, I mean, I think that I've taken some notes for my match reaction, and obviously we'll be doing player ratings in that. But the work rate of these players today has been immense. Now, Cavani's apparently gone to Villarreal. Somebody just said that. What happened to Cavani? United forever. The question is, and this is going to be really difficult to predict. It's probably something Ten Hag doesn't know. If you take a set of players that have never run this much in their bloody careers, and they're all coming out saying this is ridiculously intense, we're really enjoying it, we've never worked so hard, does that mean that they're going to be able to do it for the whole season? Or does it mean you hit October, November time and you start picking up injuries? Like, there is that, look, and I'm not into all this sports science bullshit. You know, it's not bullshit, it's true. But, like, it's great the amount of work we're putting in. Can they do that 2 times a week, 8 times a month for 8 months? And that's something to consider as well. There are a few unknowns. Unknown Legacy says we'll be dead by December. We will be dead by December if he doesn't get more players in. And this is where I'm coming to with this. At the moment, our midfield is McTominay and Fred. Maybe Donny can play there. We need 2 more midfielders. Our wingers are Sancho and Rashford. We need more than that because they will be knackered. So we've got a lot of work still to do in the transfer market, because if you want to play this level of intensity, it's really difficult to be able to do that. And Chris says Ten Hag will rotate more than Ollie. Yeah, he will, but he's going to need the players to do that. And SN says we've got lots of youth. You're having a laugh, mate. You can't rotate youth. That's not how it works. You don't just chuck 5 young players into a team because you're playing Thursday night football. Like, we'll get beat. Youth players need to be coming into a scenario that is where they can be nurtured and looked after. You don't just start playing 5 or 6 young players to rest the first team. Game really flowed when Van der Beek came on for Scooby, says Julian. It's a shame he only got 10 minutes as well. Does this possibly mean Wan-Bissaka is no longer up for sale, says Ben? No, he's for sale. Definitely up for sale. Please do subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. United Stands, watch along. As ever, a great place for conversation and debate. We will be back with another watch along on Saturday morning for the Villa game. Obviously, we're live every morning at 10 a.m. anyway with the latest news. 8 o'clock as well. We've got an interview with James Ducker coming up on the channel as well. If you didn't see earlier, we had a mini interview with him before the game, but we're talking transfers, etc. Good save by De Gea. Could have been a goal for Palace there. Imagine if we got Poch, says Cato. Thanks, everyone, for subscribing. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. It's a good save by De Gea, that. Cross came in. Towering header by Palace. He'll want to keep a clean sheet here, David. Clean sheet, clean sheet. Goal. I've jinxed it. Angry Brits, thank you. 3-1. Thought he'd made a save again. Tellez and Fish at centre-back. Tellez bullied on the header. I think De Gea should save this. No, it hits his knee and goes in. Let's have a look at it again. Yeah, it's his feet. It's his legs. 3-1. It's only pre-season. Mark, you said about youth then, pal, but the class of 92, if they're good enough to play them, says Stephen. Stephen, how old are you, mate? Because I don't think you understand what happened with the class of 92. There are some people in our fan base. Hold on a minute. Got a 4v3 here. Switch it, Ahmad. Switch it. Too slow. Held on to the ball for too long there. Ten Hag will be furious with that. Charlie Savage is giving the ball away as well. These positives are great to see, but the board will think we can do without signings, says Brian. And Donny looked miles above McTominay in the pivot, says Cato. Just going back to what Stephen said there, I think there's some people who probably weren't born, so maybe they think this, that when we put the class of 92 in, they just started playing in the 95-96 season and we won the double. Didn't happen. Nicky Butt was playing years before that, in and out of the team. Scholes was playing years before that, in and out of the team. Beckham was playing in the season before that, in and out of the team, and so was Gary Neville. They were nurtured for 2 or 3 years, those players, with little cameos here and there. Some of them played a little bit more than others. And then in the 95-96 season, he just went with them. So with youth players, if you want to use the class of 92 as an example, you've got to work them into the team gradually, in and out, and, you know, develop something. Wish Benedict Cumberbatch happy birthday, says Dinesh. Is Zidane Iqbal? There goes for a throw in. More subs for Palace here. 15 minutes to go. We will have a player ratings for you as well. It's not 3-2, it's 3-1. Welcome to the Members Club, Mark Smith. And these positives are great to see. This is Brian. Thank you very much. Remember, if you want to get involved in our Fantasy Premier League team, I've done a video on the members section of what my first draft team is. You can check that out if you're a member. Make sure you do and get involved with that. I'm getting excited about that. Getting excited about the start of the season as well. It's my birthday, says FIFA. Happy birthday. I'm on the side of keeping Ronaldo. However, I know this preseason, but can't help but thinking whether we would miss Ronaldo with Tony, Rashford and Jadon in the form. And if we signed a striker prospect, am I delusional, says Sam. No, you've just got an opinion, Sam. It's not delusional. Look, I spoke about Martial before the game. This is the key thing. Anthony Martial, when he's got no competition, tends to do well. When we bought Cavani, his form suffered. When we bought Zlatan, his form suffered. When we bought Sanchez, his form suffered. Martial does well when he's the number one guy. He can't be the number one guy because you can't just have Martial as your striker at United. And you can't just buy a crap backup that's never only plays if Martial's injured. You've got to have, at a club like Man United, if you want to compete for top 4, you've got to have good competition. Now, will Martial work as well? Maybe with a shot there straight at the keeper. Will he work as well when Ronaldo comes back? Or if we did sell Ronaldo and we brought a replacement in, would he work as well? And that's the question mark. And also, yes, it is pre-season. C-Mark, we need a CDM and Bayern just sent an 18-20 million bid for Lemar. Well, he's going to go to Bayern, Joshua. I think conceding is as important as scoring, especially pre-season, picking up your head, giving a replay, says Angry Brit. Yeah, exactly. You want everything to happen in the pre-season games. It was Sanchez. Martial was doing quite well. I mean, I love it when people try and tell me what I'm telling isn't right. I'm talking, it's my brain putting the information out there. Martial, in the 3 weeks before we bought Alexis Sanchez, I think he scored in all 3 games. It was the January and he was playing off the left. We bought Sanchez and Martial got dropped. I'm not just talking about playing up front. I'm talking about Martial in general in his career. He doesn't do well when he's got competition, and that needs to change. Because that, you know, we can't bend over for Martial. We can't say, don't worry, Tony, we're not buying anybody. You're not under any competition. Just express yourself. He needs to learn that as well. He needs to learn at a club like Man United. You are going to have competition for places. We've got to have that. And Martial's never done particularly well when he's had competition for places. So, look, I like Martial. I want him to do well. But would I put all my eggs in one basket? No. You've got to have competition for places. And that's the challenge for Tony. He's got to deal with it better than he has over the last 4 years. I honestly think we can develop Zidane like Frankie de Jong, says AV. God, it's hot. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Any reason we haven't seen Garnacho, says Stuart? Got no idea. I really don't. I mean, I think it's bothering people in the chat more than me, but I've got no idea. I mean, he's been called up to the Argentinian squad. So I'm quite surprised we haven't seen him. But, you know, there are disappointments about this tour, let's be honest. The lack of signings, the lack of Ronaldo, Garner being injured. you can't do a lot about those things if you're Ten Hag, but I would have expected him to have picked Garnacho a little bit more. Oh, God. Apparently, Ajax want Ethan Laird, says Red Devil. I don't know whether there's any truth in that. They can have him. Straight swap for Anthony. I can't wait for the third game of the season, says Mud. Yeah, that game against Liverpool. I know we've got Brighton and Brentford, and I know I shouldn't say this, but I was thinking about this last night, sipping a beer in the garden, and I thought, I expect us to beat Brighton and Brentford. Why do I expect us to beat Brighton and Brentford? Because we're Manchester United. I expect us to beat Brighton and Brentford. But that Liverpool game, even if we've got 6 points, if Liverpool turn up at Old Trafford and beat us again, it will just pop the bubble, won't it? So that third game of the season is one that's definitely going to be a real indicator of where we are. And the challenge has to be to have that midfielder in then, which is De Jong. Youth over experience will never conquer a league, but it's nice to see the younger players learning. But people saying that the young players can play week in, week out and challenge for a trophy. Yeah, right, says Gaz. It's about nurturing young players so that they become good players. Can't believe people saying get De Gea out, says Abba. Yeah, but you know what? Let them say it, because it just shows you that they moan about second chances and they moan about, let's give everybody a chance. And actually, some of our fan base can't move on themselves. Like, there'll still be people calling Rashford Trashford as well. Like, De Gea was second best player of the season last year, and he's going to be the goalkeeper this year. Like, Dean Henderson isn't even here. Who do you want to go in goal? Tom Heaton? Like, he's the goalkeeper. Another perspective, says Sam Pierce, then, would it be fair to drop Tony when Ronaldo comes back? Should Ronaldo automatically get picked if he missed all the pre-season? Well, I don't think that will happen, Sam. And I think that's a very good point. Like, if Ronaldo started training next week, would you start him against Brighton? Probably not. I probably wouldn't, for the reasons you've just said there. We don't want to see players just walking straight back into the team. Now, Ronaldo's better than Martial, but yeah, Martial at this moment in time deserves to start against Brighton. Do I have lights on? Yes. Mully, I do. We will be doing player ratings. I'm going to get it sorted for you now. Just make sure it's up. They are up, unitedstand.com. I'll whack the link in the chat for you now. We'll get those player ratings done. There will be a match watch along, as a match reaction as well, where we'll go through all this and thoughts on the game. Let's get this player ratings link in the chat for you, though. Red card for Fish. He's taken an early bath. Oh, Fish. What's he done? Didn't even see it. Well, to get a red card in a pre-season game, let's have a look. Last man. Oh, I feel sorry for him. It's a little flick on of a header. He's made a mistake. Oh. Last man. It's not a penalty. It's just, I feel sorry for Fish there. Got to say. It was a bit naive, like a fish out of water. But remember, he's only on the tour because we've sent Twan Sebi back because of personal issues. So, yeah, bit of a shame. A free kick goes over the bar. United down to 10 men with 5 minutes to go. And Fish gets sent off in a pre-season game. Don't normally see stuff like that. Welcome to the Numbers Club, Leaf. And Owen says, good morning, Mark. Stay cool. Supposed to reach 110 degrees Fahrenheit today when I live here in the States. I hope we can get De Jong deal done so we can move to other targets. Thanks, Owen. I mean, look, he's not a player that's going to be part of our future anyway, is he? You hope that a player like that puts himself in the shop window for a loan move. ends at someone like Preston North End. I don't think there's any great expectations that Fish is going to end up being a United player of the future, but you don't want to see stuff like that for a young lad. You know, he's got his feet in a mess. He's took the lad down. It is a red card, whether it's a pre-season game or not. Just hopefully he picks his head up. Rashford walks in and says, Fish, get that head up of yours off the ground now and, you know, get you moved to Preston. Ronaldo needs us more than we need him. No one wants him apart from Roma, says Maliev. That's not true. Shame when you're not briefed, isn't it? And sell him to Rochdale now. He's a young lad. Leave him alone. But why are people so horrible these days? I just don't get it. Booing Maguire. Booing your captain. Can't believe it. Okay. Do that. Maguire's effect on the youngster. So we've got 4 minutes to go here. I mean, look, the game's drifted. Let's be honest. It's 3-1, and we've made a lot of changes, and ultimately, with that first hour that we judge it on anyway, won't it? Let's be honest. But it's progression. That's what you want. Would Ronaldo come on against Brighton? Says Shane. He'd have to be there first. Check European lads tweet on Laird to Ajax, says Jimmy Garner. I will have a quick look in a minute. Hold on. United are on the attack here. Iqbal goes wide. Good 90 minutes for Malacia. I do wonder if Luke Shaw might be carrying a bit of an injury. I might be completely wrong on that, but it would make a little bit of sense. Let's have a look at this tweet then. Lad. Manchester United right back Ethan Laird is the new target for Ajax. He only has 1 year left on his contract, and the player himself would be keen on a move. All right. So it's not a loan move then, it's a potential signing. Swap for Anthony, straight swap. Positives, Donny playing as an 8 and providing a beautiful assist. Nice attacking football. Martial class. Negatives, McTominay and Ahmad look lost, says Mario. Yeah, we're going to have to find Ahmad a decent loan move, aren't we, really? Let's be honest. I'm yawning because it's bloody hot and it's hard work. Joy's going to have a cup of lava. I'm going to have a cold shower after my match reaction. ABC says, thoughts on McCred for about 50% of our games. That's being realistic. The board and coaching staff love them. Well, I don't think that... I've watched that game like everybody else. I don't think we've ever had control of the midfield in this game as much as we did in that first 10 minutes after half-time where we scored 2 goals. Like, it was 1-0 at half-time. It was 3-0 after 60 minutes. I think that's the only stat that matters. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Ahmad was out of his depth at Rangers. Never mind United, says Michael. We've got a bit of a break on here with Maybury. Can we support him? Nice ball into, I think is it Charlie Savage? Very difficult though, you know, when you make this many changes. This is what I meant about Donny. Donny's not in the game as much now, is he? Because he's playing with a load of players that are it's just a bit of a free for all, isn't it? With this lot, you know, that doesn't mean that you can't have a good game, but the system is not as fluid. We're into the 90th minute. to get your player ratings in. Daniel says you're 5'9" at most, mate, 6 foot. I tell you what, Daniel, next time there's a United stand meetup, I'll let you come up on the stage and I'll ridicule you in front of everybody with a tape measure. And I'm not even talking about my height. But Ten Hag cursing at people, says Jack, I still don't know what's going on. No, that is a genuine offer. Like, next time we have a United stand meetup, I'll get you up on set with a tape measure and you'll measure me 6 foot. And then I'll say, sit down, you prat. What is it? You must be about, what's your problem with people being taller than you? Oh, I don't like it. You're not big. You're not bigger than me. Get down the gym boy. I still don't know what's going on with Bruno this preseason. Seems his confidence has taken a hit. Well, it's a complete and utter, I want to talk about that in the match reaction, actually. It's a complete and utter change of system for Bruno. We'll talk about that in the match reaction, though. Getting hot. This ref likes to add a good few minutes on, you know. People are obsessed with height. It's the same with Lisandro Martinez. Oh, he's not going to be big enough. He's not going to be big enough. In fact, I might not be 6 foot anymore because I've got a bad back and I'm getting older. So I probably have, you do start to shrink. Fish got sent off, Drainers. Don't forget to do your player ratings. It's going to be really good today because we got an hour. We can really dive into that. So make sure you get involved in the player ratings. Links in the video description. We're going to go into that and the match reaction straight after this. Got lots to talk about as well. Took some really interesting notes about various aspects of United on where I think we need to improve. And we are starting to build up to that game against Villa on Saturday now, which I think is going to be a real test. I still think this is a bit of the honeymoon period. It's not the proper Palace team. You know, there is that danger of going, yeah, look at us, we're bloody brilliant, we're going to win the league and that. And I think enjoy the hype, enjoy the positives, but I still think there's a lot of work to do, which Ten Hag will openly admit to. Hi, Mark. Can't believe Donny is going to leave. He's a billion times better than Fred, who is very poor at passing and pressing, says Mohammed. I don't think Donny's necessarily going to leave. And the ref blows the whistle. Remember, you can't start Maguire, Varane and Martinez all at the same time. Watch Slabhead's 80 million price tag get him games when he won't deserve them. So he's ABC. 6 foot standing on the hill, says Jack. No, I am 6 foot. I mean, it's really crazy that people think they can even judge my height from being sat at a desk. But I genuinely don't care if I am 5'8". I'm not. I don't lie. I don't lie about sources. I don't lie about my height. I don't lie about my opinions. Right, we're going to go straight into the match reaction, player ratings, and some really good insights. What's going wrong with Bruno, the Donny impact that Ten Hag will not be able to ignore, and also intensity. Is it as good as it needs to be? Will it be able to last? Will we keep it up that long? Let's talk about that. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you on the match reaction very, very shortly. Big shout out to Wash and Go as well. Don't forget to check out your Wash and Go. You can get it through the link in the description or you can scan your QR code. Let's see you all in the match reaction in a minute.